You are watching SWAC Football, presented tonight by USAA. Welcome to Panther Stadium on the campus of Prairie View A&M, where one of the biggest rivalries in the country will be played, as the Tigers from Texas Southern University made the 47-mile trek up Highway 290 to face the Panthers from Prairie View. Hello, everyone. I'm Butch Alcindor, along with college football analyst Jorge Vargas. And usually this matchup takes place Labor Day weekend. But you know what? Anytime these two teams get together, there's a lot of head-knocking going on. The two fan sets know each other. And sometimes they like each other. But all the time, they want the bragging rights from this ball game.
Yeah, no question about it. You know, the classic is always fun. A lot of smack talk. The fact that it's moved to the spring is even more fun. So the student body and the alumni will certainly be ready to talk some smack tonight.
Yeah, and for the visitors from Texas Southern University to stay in this ball game tonight, well, they have to generate a lot of offense and generate some points in the red zone. For that to happen, a big burden will be on quarterback Devin Williams.
Yeah, no question about it. He was voted team captain, so that says a lot about his leadership qualities and his belief from his teammates in him, but he's going to have to generate a lot of offense. We know Prairie View A&M, one of the top offensive teams in the country. He has played just 4 games, so he'll have to get it done tonight.
Prairie View pretty good defensively, too, and tonight you can expect to see a lot of number 20, Trayshad Smith. He's the all-SWAC defensive player. He's outstanding. He led the team in tackles last year with 93 tackles.
93 tackles. That's a tackling machine is what he is. But here's even maybe more impressive. 12 of those are behind the line of scrimmage, 6 of those sacks. He's got some great defensive backs behind him, so he is going to be aggressive.
Well, when it comes to this series, the Panthers are riding a 5-game winning streak. But can they keep it going tonight? Or will the Tigers win this cat fight? We will find out. Kickoff coming up next on ESPN3. Welcome back, everyone, to Panther Stadium, where we're getting set for the big rivalry matchup tonight between the Texas Southern Tigers and the Prairie View A&M Panthers. This is one that's always a war. It's always an exciting matchup. Usually we see it Labor Day weekend, but tonight we get it in the spring, and that makes it just as much exciting about what we're going to see on the field.
Well, you know, spring football is usually just, you know, you're getting ready to see what's going to happen in the fall. The fact that this all means real business, you're moving a classic into the spring, it's exciting.
Let's take a look now at today's keys to the game presented by Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket. And as you can see right there, you see for Texas Southern, they need to execute in the red zone. That is the key. Last year they got a lot of field goals. They want touchdowns this year, and they also want to win the turnover margin. For Prairie View, they need to maintain their composure and continue to move the ball on third down.
Yeah, no question about that. Let's start with the execute in the red zone. You can't keep up with Prairie View if you're going to settle for field goals. They're going to score some points. In fact, they've scored 60 a couple times in a row before. They're no stranger to the scoreboard. And third down conversions, that just keeps drives going, and that'll get you in the end zone.
As you can see, the Tigers from Texas Southern University are lining up. They will kick it off to get this ball game underway here at Panther Field in Prairie View, Texas. We got a beautiful night for football, folks. Number 59, Richard Garcia, will put his toe into it. He's a 5'10", 150-pound sophomore. Last year, he was second team all-SWAC, so we are underway in Prairie View. So the kick is short, fielded around the 15. A little crease there, but he's finally knocked down at about the 28-yard line. So that is where the Panthers will start on offense. 1st and 10 for Prairie View. And leading the Panthers tonight will be number 2. T.J. Starks at quarterback. The young man only played in 4 games last year. And there he is right there. There's Mr. Stark. Only played in 4 games last year. Only tossed 4 TD passes. But you know what? He does a lot of things well for Prairie View. And they expect him to pick up right where Martin left off last year.
Yeah, Coach Dooley knows what to do with any kind of player for sure.
Panthers on 1st down. Swings it out. It's caught by number 29, Bernard Goodwater, and then he's jumped on by several TSU Tigers after a short gain, a gain of about 2 on the play. That was Bernard Goodwater, and he's a young man who's going to have some big shoes to fill tonight. Of course, Dewanye Tucker was the man last year, rushed for over 1,000 yards, had 15 touchdowns. I mean, he had a great season for the Panthers, and Goodwater will get his shot tonight as whistles blow down on the field. We have a flag down.
False start.
And the Panthers are walking backwards right away.
5-yard penalty. Replay, second half.
Yeah, it looks like they had movement. They stopped that play dead in its tracks right there.
So the penalty goes against the Panthers. Our referee, Marty Adams, tonight. As they come up second down now. The pass goes deep from Starks, and it's an incompleted pass. He was trying to hit number 9, Chris Johnson, but a fine defensive play coming up there by Matthew Williams of the Texas Southern secondary. Big play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Chris Johnson, though, actually wound up being more of a defender than anything else because that was kind of a timing pattern. He was throwing to a spot, and so Johnson went over there and said, "Oh, you got a defender in my spot. I need to knock it down."
A little more to let you know about TJ Starks as they come up 3rd and 13. Starks from New Orleans was a transfer from Kansas before he came to Prairie View, and now he's looking at 3rd and long. Starks back to pass, throws it out short. Has a man, that's a completed pass to number 13, Travis O'Connor, but it will be well short of the first down. So we will get our first look at Caleb Darbone tonight. He's the punter for the Prairie View Panthers. So if you're talking about the TSU defense setting the tone and getting off to a good start, they just did that.
Yeah, I mean, you make them sit down and you make them take a route that's a lot shorter, and that's what they did. They stayed on top of him. He dumped it down, and sure tackling stops that first down right there.
Darbone gets the punt away. It is high and short. It will take a bounce, and it takes the Texas Southern bounce as the ball comes to rest around the 34-yard line. So that is where TSU will get its first attempt on offense. That means we'll get our first look at Devin Williams, the 5'10", 180-pound senior. He'll be at quarterback tonight. And, of course, Coach could not stop raving about this young man. He says he's one of these guys that just knows how to make plays. He makes big plays happen. He's a playmaker, and he does it with his arm and with his legs. He was also voted a team captain. So they have a lot of confidence in this young man.
He's going to try to gain some experience very quickly.
Empty backfield for Williams. Takes it, fires near the sideline, a quick pass. It is complete. And that's going to be a 4-yard pickup by the Tigers. Number 23, Ja'Cory Howard made the catch, and we do have a Prairie View player who's down on the play. So there is an injury on the field. So right away, TSU starts with a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, and I like the play call, too. We talked about Devin Williams. Only had four games that he's played. What do? You give him a nice, easy pass that he can throw in. And again, credit to all the other receivers for great blocking down the field.
The injured Panther on the field is number 33, Tariq Mulmore. He's a 5'11", 160-pound senior out of New Orleans. And he was in there on the tackle, so that's where he was injured on the tackle. And now that's a good sign as they are helping him up, and he is coming back toward the Prairie View sideline.
Yeah, something to notice real quick. And people who think that there's rivalries and people hate each other and all this kind of stuff within football, the very first thing you saw with the trainers from TSU step up and go make sure he wasn't, really, really bad pain.
So the Tigers come out with 2nd and manageable, 2nd and 5 yards to go. And this is something Coach wanted to do. He wanted to stay ahead of the chains to continue to come up with that 2nd and 3rd and short. And that's what they did after picking up 5 yards on first down. Devin Williams puts a man in motion, turns and hands inside. It goes to Howard. He bangs his way forward for a nice gain. So Howard is an interesting young man at running back, the 6 foot, 220-pound from Houston Aldine High School.
Short gain on the play. That brings up 3rd down.
He cut it. What a tackle right there.
Big tackle by that Prairie View defense. So 3rd down coming up for the Tigers now. 3rd and 5. Devin Williams on the option pitch. Pitches it back to Howard, and he picks up the first down for the Tigers. So Ja'Cory Howard, who's really started to come into his own during spring practice because he kind of won the job.
Watch him go down the line. Williams does a great job making that end commit. Once he committed, he knew he'd have room right there, and then great cutting. I like the straight up the field. Don't dance around too much. Just take it up the field.
Howard was apparently injured on the play. He was holding his side, holding that hip area as he went over to the bench after picking up that big first down for the Tigers. So he's an interesting young man. I mean, he understands the scheme, and that is one of his big attributes on this team. So 1st and 10 for Texas Southern. The handoff inside and running room for the Tigers. Ladarius Owens slipped one tackler before he is finally pulled down. But a nice game by Ladarius Owens. And coming into this one, Coach thought with Howard, he had a little bit of that flash and dash. And with Owens and Franklin, he had some power.
Yeah, Jason Dumas came off. He's a quick guy inside. He came back from the backside to make that play.
Tigers again, 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Williams looking to throw. Down the sidelines, he's short, and it's going to be intercepted. That is Jalen Harris. Spins away from one would-be tackler, and then Harris steps out of bounds. A nice interception on the play, and it would have to be a misread between quarterback and receiver there, as Devin Williams had a nice drive going for Texas Southern, but then the interception by Jalen Harris.
Yeah, the only thing I can see there is he thought he was going to hook, and he went straight because
a German brewmaster. It's not just any beer now, is it? Dos Equis, the most interesting beer.
We are in Prairie View, Louisiana, where the Panthers are getting set for their 2nd possession of the game after going 3 and out the first time they had the ball. But after the interception by Jalen Harris, they're set up in pretty good field position.
Yeah, we'll see if it sparks these Panthers right here and electrifies their offense.
Starks hands it inside to number 29, Bernard Goodwater, and good defense by the TSU Tigers there, as Goodwater did not have a chance to really get going on that play.
I think it was Michael Badejo, but I think they're going to call, whether it's some kind of face mask or horse collar, it looked like to me.
Another flag on the field.
Face mask. Defense number 32. 15 yards to be added to the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
I think you're right, Jorge. This one is going against the TSU Tigers. We got that word from Marty Adams, our referee for tonight. So a big break. They get the interception, and then they get the yardage on the penalty.
Now, don't be surprised if they go for something big here, a big chunk play right here to keep the Tigers on their heels.
Football is resting near the 40-yard line. TJ Starks back in the pocket in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff. Keeps under pressure, still dancing around, still on his feet, throws downfield, and it's almost intercepted by the Tigers.
Well, he was taking a heck of a risk there, Butch.
Number 12, Joshua Murray, was right in his wheelhouse, and he almost came away with the INT.
Yeah, he did a great job, I thought, with the read there. But right here, I think you almost kind of have to go in. There wasn't anyone open. He just needed to hang on to that ball or throw it away. That was a risk he didn't need to take.
Panthers will reset. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. TJ Stark started at quarterback tonight. Passes to the outside, has his man, that is Travis O'Connor. He gets away from one would-be tackler, takes it for the 1st down, and a gain of 15 yards on the play. 13 yards on the play.
Yeah, nice job there. I mean, just check it out. Throws a bullet strike, and I love the receiver on the outside. You didn't see it there, but he gave a nice fake to the outside. Looked like it was a little out route, and just cut in. It was beautiful.
Tariq Cooper on the stop for the Tigers, as Prairie View has a drive. The pitch goes out to number 5, Ahmed Antoine, and he spins it inside. Inside the 20 he goes as the Panthers go to the rushing attack. That's number 7, Christian Mosley, on that pitch. So you can see so far Prairie View using all 3 of their running backs have been in the game early. As TJ Starks looked to the sidelines for the play. Now number 7 now, Christian Mosley in the backfield. He's a 5'10", 174-pound junior. He's a transfer from Louisiana Tech. 2nd and short. Handoff goes inside to Mosley, and he's very close to that 1st down. He goes down right at the sticks, and the officials come on. It is a 1st down for the Panthers.
Yeah, it looked like he cut back, trying to get behind his center, Danny Garza. Was a nice job there. He saw the cut, went right back in.
You mentioned Danny Garza, the all-SWAC offensive lineman for the Prairie View Panthers. He is one of their best linemen, along with DeJohn Jones. They have 2 really outstanding players in that offensive line. So after the turnover, plus a big penalty. Prairie View has put the ball deep down into TSU territory now. TJ Starks looking to pass on first down under pressure, and he goes down. Michael Badajo with the tackle, and that's a huge sack for the TSU Tigers.
Yeah, Michael Badajo, 6'2", 265, senior from Mansfield, Texas. He looks like he's on a mission today. You know, first time he got a penalty for a little face mask. Now he's like, not going to let that happen again. Watch him come off the edge super fast. He can't even react there. He's already in him.
Coach was raving about that guy this week, talking about his outstanding play, how he's good whether they put him on the inside or the outside of that line. He does a great job, and he showed right there the type of impact he can make on this game. A 7-yard loss, so we have 2nd and 17 yards to go for the Panthers. Starks to throw again. Down the sideline, has a man open, and he overshot him in the end zone. Number 7, Christian Mosley, had a little daylight there, but the pass just a little too long from Starks.
Yeah, it was just an accuracy issue, right? I mean, he had him. He did the right read perfectly, just put too much juice on it, but he was certainly open in that gap.
Well, the one thing Panthers head coach Eric Dooley knows is offense. He's entering his 3rd season here with the Panthers, and his offense last year, number 1 in total offense in the SWAC, number 4 nationally, and his first season at Prairie View, he actually had 3 60-point games, so he knows offense. So the Panthers come up now, 3rd down and long. Starts with time to pass. Now he pulls it down. He's going to keep it at the 15, and he slides down at about the 14-yard line, well short of the first down. So on 3rd down, the TSU defense comes up with a big stop.
Yeah, no doubt. But I thought Starks did a good job here. He got what he could out of this, making the field goal easier. Right there, I thought he was going to squeeze something in there too much, but he went in there and got the yards. And you live for another day, right? You're going to get 3 hopefully out of this drive, and you move on. Don't make a big mistake.
So that will set up Luis Reyes with a 31-yard field goal attempt. The hold is by Tony Mullins on the field, and we have whistles, and we have a timeout by the Panthers. So maybe they're going to think about this a little bit.
Well, they had just 10 men on the field there, so what they're thinking about is trying to make sure they get 11 on there to line up. And there's nothing that ticks off a coach more than when the player is not out there for his special teams assignment or whatever the different assignment is. The sidelines erupt. I don't care what level you're at, it is bad.
First opportunity here to put points on the board tonight. When you look back, they did not play in the fall. So the last stats we have is 2019. The PV Panthers went 6-5 during that time, and they went 4-3 in SWAC play, tying for 2nd. And if you take a look at our Pepsi impact players here for the Panthers, we have Drake Cheatham, number 22, Bernard Goodwater, who has some big shoes to fill, we talked about, and Tony Mullins, who's actually wearing number 0 tonight, not number 19. So that is Mullins, who will hold for the field goal attempt from 31 yards, coming up by Luis Reyes. Mullins will put it down. The kick is up, and it is good. Right down the middle, so Reyes puts the Panthers on the board first. And it looks like we have an injured player on the field. There was a lot of contact inside, and now that's a good sign. He's being helped up there. We don't like to see injuries in this game, so it's the PV Panthers getting on the scoreboard first on a field goal by Luis Reyes. That coming after the big turnover. Right now, 3-0 Prairie View. We'll be right back.
Do what you want to do.
Prairie View here at Prairie View on the football field at Panther Stadium. 7:25 to go in the first quarter. The Panthers scoring on that 31-yard field goal by Luis Reyes, who actually got hit on the play, thought he was shaken up for a minute, but as you said, no flag, he got off and jogged off in a hurry.
Look at him right now. He's dancing out there, getting ready to kick the ball. So I think he was maybe working for an Emmy or an Oscar. Yeah, I guess it's for TV, it's an Emmy.
Last year he was second team all SWAC He kicked 11 of his 14 attempts, so that was pretty good. And Coach told me he was very comfortable with him. He has a good range. They're very comfortable with him. So he's about to kick the football off, and the TSU Tigers will get another shot at it. And we have whistles on the field. And it's a fair catch, so they will start 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. So the TSU Tigers now, Jorge, the key becomes how do they rebound after the big interception, because they were moving the football before the pick.
I was just going to say that. You have to have a short memory when you're a quarterback at any level, and certainly he's just got to put that behind him. And whether it was and I believe you're correct that it was a communication issue. I thought he thought he was going to zig when he zagged. And he threw the ball right to a spot. So now they just got to go with what was working and attack.
Devin Williams back out to lead the Panthers for their second possession of the night. Turns and he hands inside, and a good surge there. Nice job by that offensive line, number 23, back in the game. Ja'Cory Howard, good to see him back. He was holding his hip a few plays ago, but boy, he's back and ready to go.
Yeah, Trayvon Robinson, I thought, had a really good block there. Just stayed on his man, was able to kind of create some creases there. And again, you love it when your running back sees a crease and just goes.
Troy James on the stop for the Panthers. Going to be 2nd and short again. So TSU doing a good job keeping that 2nd and 3rd and short working. Once again, it's the running game, but we do have a flag down. That was Howard moving close to the first down. He might have been a yard shy, but we have a flag on the play, and it went into that area where you normally see people call for holding.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this call. I was going to actually applaud.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second half.
Marty Adams said we do have the Tigers guilty of holding on the play. Nate Hines, their best offensive tackle, was the guilty party. He's their center, their center.
Right, yeah, their center. And Drake Centers, I thought, number 77, the left tackle, he had a pancake block. It was fantastic. I was hoping that call wasn't on him, but either way, they're backed up.
Tigers are on 2nd and a lot. The pass near the sidelines is incomplete. And it's broken up there by Darius Campbell, who came up with an aggressive hit to jar that football loose.
Yeah, they're letting them know, look, if you're going to catch one, you're going to pay the price for it. Are you willing to pay the price? And it was a hard one. You had to leap out there to get it, but your defender's right on there. The timing was fantastic from the defender.
Pass was intended for Keelan Davis. Goes incomplete on the big hit by Darius Campbell, and now we have whistles on the field again as the Tigers from Texas Southern came up on 3rd down. So we have a flag, and one official's already pointing toward the
5-yard penalty.
It's going to be back against the Tigers again.
Yeah, it looks like they're twitching. I mean, they're just not getting set right.
You know, when we talked to Coach Clarence McKinney this week, one of the things he wanted his team to do was get off to a fast start. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit, because he felt like last year they didn't really start moving until they got down in ball games. So he wanted to see his team get up quickly in the ball game. So Weems with a pass over to Howard. Howard breaks away from one tackler, and here comes another flag as Howard is taken down well short of the first down. But we do have another penalty flag on the field.
And you'd have to think it's another holding or a blocking penalty, because those things were flying in before he ever got tackled. I don't know if they're trying to get their workouts in, throwing, or what. I think that block right there, they're going to call a clip. But it looks like that may have been within the line of scrimmage, so it's kind of hard to hear the refs.
Tripping. Number 2 against the offense. This penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Really a shame, because Ja'Cory Howard is running the football hard tonight. I mean, he's doing a good job.
Correction, number 0.
So that one is against Jonathan Giles.
Yeah,
the transfer from LSU, who was injured all of last year, was the guilty party for the Tigers.
I guess it was such a bad block. It was more of a trip than a block.
So the Panthers declined the penalty, so that will bring on Sawyer Evans to punt the football away for the Tigers. So Prairie View, after taking a 3-0 lead, will get the football again. Sawyer Adams is a freshman out of Arlington. Good snap. Gets the kick away. It's high and short, but it takes a TSU bounce as it goes out of bounds. So the Panthers will get it around the 45-yard line. So once again, the PV Panthers have excellent field position, and they also have a 3-0 lead. We'll be back with more from Prairie View.
For as low as 33 cents a day. It's that simple. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
We have a modest crowd here tonight at Panther Stadium, of course, because of COVID-19, but it's a rowdy crowd, and right now their team is up 3-0, leading the Texas Southern Tigers. Prairie View also has the football. Starting first and 10, TJ Starks back at quarterback, the senior from New Orleans. Turns and he hands it off to Goodwater, who tries to round the corner, but he is dragged down after a short gain.
It looks like he lost his footing or something. Didn't it look like he was kind of cruising along and then just kind of lost his wheels there for a minute? It's like right there, something happens to his right leg. It looks like. Yeah, it just tightened up. Either he's got something certainly tightened up on him.
Well, he's being attended to on the field. So, boy, that was one of those things that when you first see it, you think, boy, it looks like a hamstring almost.
Yeah, it does, but it looks like whatever it is, it tweaked and he let off the gas before it hurt too much, maybe. So hopefully, maybe this they can hydrate him up or whatever they can do, stretch it out, massage it out, and he'll be okay. But it certainly looked a little concerning right when it happened. But I have to disagree with you on the crowd. This is the most people I've seen in over a year and a half, Butch. This is packed. This is crazy. Bedlam.
As we see Goodwater come into the sidelines, this is his opportunity this year. You play behind a guy like DeWanye Tucker, who was just all SWAC, all everything last year. You don't get many opportunities, so we hope the young man is okay and that he will be back later in this ball game. So he did manage to pick up a couple of yards, so that will bring Prairie View up to the line. Second down, 8 yards to go for the Panthers. Starks looking to throw, has to scramble out of the pocket. We have a flag on the play, might be holding against PV as Starks still on his feet, dives forward, picks up about 4 yards on the play, but we will have to check the flag and see what that was all about.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It looked like holding against the Panthers, especially when you have a quarterback. You're trying to block
Offense,
one way.
Number 74, 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
And the Panthers were guilty of holding on the play. Reese Mallory was the guilty party.
Yeah, when your quarterback switches directions real quick and you're blocking, it's very hard to maintain it when all of a sudden the defender takes off another direction.
So far, it's been the defenses on both sides setting the tone early in this ball game. Second and about 18 coming out for the Panthers. Pass is complete, and it's a first down. What a beautiful pass to Kobe Washington from TJ Starks. Found him in that open area, and the ball was right on the money.
It's nice when you have your receiver get to an open spot, right, where you can get him, check him out. He sees them all the way. It just lays it right in there, right over the defender, so that was just accurate. Just a great job.
Pass.
Yes.
Right over the outstretched arms of Julian Marcantel for a big first down for the Panthers. Starks hands it inside to Ahmad Antoine, and not a lot of room there for him to ramble inside. He might have gotten a couple of yards. Looked like he has 3 on the play, but TSU had a lot of white jerseys right there waiting on him.
Starks does a really, really good job of riding his running back in there, Ahmad, and he stays there with him all the way through. So don't be surprised that he's going to keep feeding and let him show you that ride, and then he's going to pull that ball out and take off. And that defense is collapsing inside of the running back. We'll see if that works.
2nd and 6 coming up for the Panthers. TJ Starks has gone all the way at quarterback. Starting to find some momentum now. Back to pass. This time steps up in the pocket. Still looking downfield, dumps it off, has a man. A nice completion, still on his feet is Ty Holden near the goal line, and he's going to be pulled down at about the 2-yard line. But a great job by TJ Starks making that happen, keeping the play alive with his feet, and then finding number 86, Ty Holden, for a huge gain.
And I have to give a ton of credit to Holden itself. That was not an easy catch. He was running full out and had to kind of bend back as he's running to catch that ball. He made it look easy. And then also, once he grabbed a hold of that ball, he had a great angle towards that. I thought he was going to score. I really did. There's another look at it right here. And what's funny is he actually he stumbled a little bit even before that play took place.
This time the give near the goal line is to Ahmad Antoine, and he's in for the touchdown. So the Prairie View Panthers now have a touchdown to go with that field goal. A fine play to finish off that drive after the big pass from Starks to Holden.
Yeah, run right behind your left guard there, and they went right in. I liked it. Run off at an angle, and he just was committed. And was over.
Ahmad Antoine, they said both we can expect to see Bernard Goodwater and Antoine tonight, and both men have been out there. And Antoine showing some power getting that one into the end zone.
Yeah. A lot of flag throwing here today.
Have another stoppage in play as there is a flag down on the field, illegal procedure against the Panthers.
5-yard penalty, re-kick.
So that will back them up 5.
I'm trying to pay attention to what's happening there because it's not like a jump off sides. It's kind of a repositioning when you go up to that line of scrimmage. Once you set your feet, you can't really be moving around. And I think they try to reset themselves, and that's why that flag's going off. Trust me, they'll be working on it this next week.
Luis Reyes on to attempt the extra point. Mullins will hold it. And the kick from Reyes is good, so the penalty did not bother him one bit. And just like that, the Panthers break out at top 10-0 with 2:45 to go in the first quarter. Well, here's the SWAC preseason poll presented by Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket. And as you can see, the preseason polls, when you look in the East, Alabama A&M favored to win, but Jackson State, they're number 2, but they're 2-0 behind Deion Sanders at the helm as the head coach. And on the other side, Southern, the Jaguars predicted to be number 1 in the West, but they were upset today. And you see Grambling at number 2. Jackson State knocked off Grambling today. So much for that preseason poll.
That's right. Polls are for nothing, right? You got to get out here and you got to play the game. And again, I think spring football in general is really, really different because it's a whole different mindset of getting your team ready. You're usually getting ready in the fall. All the different adjustments that teams have to make. You're having Zoom team calls, Zoom linebackers, right? Instead of having the whole linebacker unit in one group, you have 2 guys there maybe on different sides of the room, other guy on the TV. It's crazy.
Definitely a different kind of year. This time, Morbely on the return has some room. A big hole for Thurman Morbely, and he's finally wrestled down at around the 37-yard line. But a nice return to put the Tigers with some good field position.
Yeah, it was a great special teams play, period. I mean, I thought the blockers did a great job. Everyone stayed. You know, it's really hard in open field to stay on a guy. I think people think it's real easy to stay on a block, but they stayed on really well, giving him gaps, and he saw a guy leaning, he cut the other way.
Morbely is a 5'11", 170-pound senior from Texarkana. Last year, he was one of the top receivers, had 32 catches for this team, but as you saw right there, he can also bring it back on the kickoff return. So the Tigers, 1st and 10 with the ball resting at the 36-yard line, and they go straight ahead on the run. And the ball apparently came loose in the pile. One official was pointing down, like if the play was blown dead. You saw the Panthers come out of there with the football, very excited to have it. Let's take another look at that and see if we can figure out exactly what happened there. It's Howard again. He dives inside.
And I think sometime around here the whistle blows. Either way, there's no controversy. That ball was down.
Dante Carter, the big fella, picked it up, and not taking any chances on there. We can't blame Dante for that. 2nd and 8, and nothing happening there in the backfield was Dante Carter again. So he got warmed up by picking up that fumble and running a couple of feet, and then he comes right back with a huge stop in the backfield.
Oh my gosh, you would think he just ran 40 yards. I was actually going to say he should have saved himself and not run all the way to the touchdown. And what does he do? Comes storming in. Absolutely powerful job right there.
And he's 5'11", 315 pounds, and all of that 315 was on Mr. Howard. So third down and about 15 yards for the Tigers. Pressure on Devin Williams, and he will go down. Number 96, Jesse Evans, one of the Panthers there to record the sack. So a lot of pressure on Devin Williams.
I'll tell you that he's got guys coming off the edges real fast. He's got to make quick decisions. That is tough to do. And I'll tell you, the thing that they had success earlier, they were, like you mentioned it right out of the gate, they were getting 5 yards, staying ahead of the chains. When they start getting predictable, Prairie View A&M's defensive backs are too good, which lets their interior linemen stunt and go crazy.
So the punt is away by TSU. Sawyer Evans gets it high. It carries a little bit. Fielded inside the 35, and then that's going to be about it, up to the 35, and that was all she wrote right there. And we have a little extracurricular activity on the field. This is a rivalry, though. What do you expect? Yes.
They're just reacquainting themselves, Butch. It's just some good conversation down there.
That was Tony Mullins on the return, and he will go back into the huddle and play some offense. He's going to try it on off the field. So we have T.J. Starks coming back as you take a look at that punt return.
Yeah, nice job there. He tried a little too many moves, and I just love the way TSU just closed on him. And good tackling. So far tonight, we've seen some good tackling as well as last week.
T.J. Starks, that quarterback, running around the right side, has some room, still on his feet, and he goes down at about right over the 40, and he falls down right around the 43-yard line. So Starks doing a good job of managing the game and taking what the Tigers are giving him.
Just a very, very fast decision around that edge there. He had the defensive end came barreling in. I don't know if it was a stunt or whatever, but once they collapsed, there was an open lane, and he had no thought. Boom, he just exploded around that edge.
We mentioned Eric Dooley, the head coach at Prairie View, is in his third season. And he has his team off to a big start here. We are at the end of the first quarter, and as you can see, welcome back to Panther Stadium on an absolutely beautiful night here in Prairie View tonight, and the Panthers are leading 10-0 over the TSU Tigers. They come out with the football, and not much happening on that play as they go down in the backfield, and we lose about 2 on that play as Starks kept the football, but he really didn't have any place to go.
Yeah, that's because Tariq Cooper came flying in like he was on fire. Did a great job of just stopping that play before it began. You know, you want to stop momentum, you stop it in that backfield, and there's just no rhythm in the offense. Big third down here.
3rd and 5 for the Panthers. Starks with the pass, complete. That's going to be the first down to Kalen Riles, who makes a nice little move after hauling in the pass and then turns it upfield. And now the Panthers try to pick up the pace. They hurry back to the line of scrimmage. That will move the chains. So a nice hookup from Starks to Kalen Riles.
Yeah, Riles did a great job of getting just beyond that first down marker. So when he caught that ball, all he had to do was a little turn, and he already had it. He got even more. I think he got another 3 or 4.
This time, Starks going to throw it again. Wanted to throw it to the outside to Antoine. Couldn't do it. Runs it out near the sidelines, and it's almost picked off by the Tigers. So the little indecision there really cost him, because he wanted to throw it to Antoine, and he was open early in the play, but not after he threw it.
Yeah, DeMontario Anderson did a great job of being relentless and just kept after him, made him get rid of that ball when he didn't want to.
2nd down, Starks hands it to Antoine, and a nice tackle right there by number 8, Ja'Cory Benjamin, coming up for the big hit for TSU.
What you call standing your ground. Good fundamental tackle. You stand your ground, he comes your way. And now they got him in a big third down here. TSU really needs to get a stop here to stop some of the momentum of the Panthers and get their offense back on the field.
Panthers have it. 13:20 to go here in the second quarter. 3rd and 8. TJ Starks still at quarterback. In the pocket. Good protection, and his pass is complete. Downfield, and that is another first down for the Panthers and another completion to Kalen Riles. And what timing on that play. That could have been picked off, too.
I was going to say he threw it right towards the defender, but the timing of that play, Riles knew exactly where he was going to be, and he got there. That's the key.
Marquise Walker also there on the stop for the TSU Tigers. This time, Starks is going to keep it. Coming around the left side, and a big hit on the play as Starks goes down. Number 45, Krishawn Frazier, one of the defenders on the play.
Yeah, and Alec Prince was the other one. And watch, he gets sandwiched. He knows he's going to get hit right there. He's like, it's coming. Bam. Two guys. There's no way to slide on that one, I don't think.
He's doing a good job mixing it up, though. They're doing a good job between the run and the pass. Of course, most of the running coming from TJ Starks, but he's pretty close to 200 pounds, so he can take some of that punishment.
Yeah, but what I like about it is he's really good at seeing when the ends collapse and there's room on the outside, and then he just reels it out. He doesn't just kind of decide if he's going to go inside. He goes ahead and commits to that outside.
2nd and 8 for Starks. Has a man open, and he dropped it. Wide open right there was Tony Mullins, and he wanted to run before he made the catch because he probably would have scored a touchdown on the play.
Mullins was already thinking of his end zone dance before he caught the ball right there. And again, it's one of those things where your footing gets messed up. He was doing the outside turn towards the outside, and when he did it, he just lost track of the ball. Simple as that.
Nice ball by Starks. Right on the money. 3rd down now for the Panthers. Pressure on the quarterback, scrambles and throws near the sidelines. And the officials say it is a completed pass. Looks like, yes. They're putting it down right there. And a nice catch by number 13, Travis O'Connor.
You got to review that. Yeah, that was skip.
That hopped in.
They're right there.
Yeah, and that looked like a skip on that replay. We will have to see if they take a look at it upstairs.
Wow, the ref was right there, too.
So Marty Adams says the play is definitely under review.
See it there.
That first look we had, it appeared the ball skipped in, but
yeah, but is it inconclusive? I think that's going to be the issue. Do we have another view, guys? Or yeah. Let's take a look right here. Right. Could his hands have been under it?
It kind of looked like the ball just slipped out of Starks' hands because he had him open, had him near the sidelines, and when he went to release, you could see the rotation on the ball change.
Yeah, it certainly was. It certainly wasn't a smooth. I don't know. To me, just by the views we have, if that's exactly what the ref's looking at, I think you have to call it what was on the field. It was called a catch.
Talking about TJ Starks, he transferred from Kansas a couple of years ago. Last year, 2019, only played in 4 games, but he did have 3 touchdown passes. And he had 344 yards there as a passer. So he learned a lot from Johnny Morton.
Well, he's learning a lot right now? Eric Dooley. Here's one guy that knows offense, and every single place he's been, offense generates. They get in the end zone. They score a lot of points. Let's see if this view tells us anything different here. I don't know, Butch. I really honestly wouldn't be able to tell you from that because it's just hard to see if it connected on the ground. Wow.
So Marty Adams works it out. So now we have a 4th down, and the Panthers offense still on the field. So after the incompleted pass near the sidelines, we will have a 4th coming up, 4th and about 7 yards to pick up a first down for the Panthers. Starks will throw it. Great protection. Fires into a crowd, and it's too high as he tried to go over the middle with that one.
Yeah, TSU's got to be a little careful on that. You had two defenders jumping into pretty much a defenseless receiver at that point.
That pass intended for Kobe Washington inside.
Yeah, there was some heck of a collision. But I'll tell you, that play call right there, people are like, well, why did they go for it? For one, they had a lot of confidence in their offense. They've been having some receivers open. They've just dropped the ball, but they were finding the gaps. They're finding the seams in the TSU defense. And again, maybe they didn't want to kick that long a field goal. They figure, what the heck, let's go for it. And I think that's a pretty good call.
So the ball will turn over to Devin Williams and the Tigers, and an incompleted pass. Ja'Cory Howard again started to run before he could secure the catch.
And that play's been real successful for them, and it gets them out of a hole. That's one that they've been getting 4 to 5 to 6 yards a pop, and it starts them off in a really good rhythm. I like the play call. Just catch the ball before you move.
Tigers puts Howard in motion. Fires inside. Nice play. Guy wide open on the play. That is Jonathan Giles. They're expecting big things from him this season. Nice catch and a good pickup to move the sticks for the TSU Tigers.
I love the inside route. I just think it's a clearer path for your quarterback. It's an easier route for your receivers.
Tigers again pushing the ball forward. It's Howard trying to get everything he could get out of that play. Picks up a couple of yards. You know, we've talked about it a little bit before. Clarence McKinney entering his second season at Texas Southern University. And one of the things he's working on was he has a drill that they run in practice called the first start drill. And it's all about working on the team coming out, keeping their emotions in check, and getting off to a faster start.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got to get. He's trying to create that atmosphere of visualizing success as soon as the game starts, visualizing what's going to happen, get yourself in position, understand what you're going to do, know what you're going to do, already have that rhythm mentality that the game's going on when it starts.
First timeout for the TSU Tigers on the play. Definitely. Last year they had so many games where for whatever, it would be a penalty here, a turnover there, and they just couldn't.
Game, I know I'm about to win it.
(10-0). The Prairie View Panthers leading the TSU Tigers, as you see some of the fans in attendance tonight.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Like I said earlier, this is the most people I've seen in any one spot in over a year and a half, and it's fantastic. Good crowd. Most of them, that was a tight shot of people pretty close, but for the most part, they've got them spread out around here, enjoying themselves. And again, what's better than football in the spring that matters?
Hey, I'm loving the spring football. This time, Devin Williams fakes it inside, and he's almost intercepted. He was trying to get that one to Jonathan Giles, and the timing on that play really got kind of messed up there, and it threw everything off.
Yeah, Drake Chatham read that ball the whole way. Watch him. He breaks on that ball, and he is on a mission. Woo.
Drake Cheatham, the outstanding defensive back from Prairie View. Of course, he had 66 tackles last year, second on the team in interceptions with 3. So he has a nose for the football. Williams on 3rd and long, dumps it off near the sidelines. It is completed to Ladarius Owens. But let's see where they spot it. Looks like he's going to be just a little short of the first down. So Clarence McKinney may have a decision to make here. We have a 4th down coming up in about 2 yards.
Yeah, I think this is the right decision. You got to punt. Hopefully you can split this field and make the, you want to pin them deep. That's more important than trying to get those 4th and 2. You haven't been consistent enough on that offensive line. You would give PV the ball just in absolute great shape. So I think you punt it.
Good job right there by Devin Williams, taking what the defense gave him on that play, not trying to force it into traffic. So that will bring on Sawyer Evans again. He will line up for another punt. Straight down the field. It takes a hop, but then no return on the play as Troy Mullins makes the catch, but he goes down right away. So good coverage by the TSU Tigers. PV will start with the football deep in their own territory.
It's that simple. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
We like to call this one the Labor Day Classic, except it's in the springtime. Usually that's when TSU takes on Prairie View A&M. It's during the Labor Day weekend. But tonight, they have a beautiful night for football, and that is Starks. Way downfield, lays it out for a receiver. We have a flag down. He was trying to hit Christopher Simmons on the fly route. Some contact on the play, and there was a flag dropped on the field. We'll have to see what the call was. as the officials talk it over near the 15-yard line.
Looks like they were going to call some type of defensive holding, but I'll tell you.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by each team. Ineligible player downfield, 70. Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 10. Those penalties offset, second down.
So you had illegal downfield by Danny Garza, number 70. He's the all-SWAC player, offensive lineman. He was called for downfield, so those penalties offset. So after all that said, they'll replay first down.
I think it's, nothing happened here. You didn't say anything. It did not exist.
Starks again looking to throw under pressure, fires into a crowd, and it will be incomplete. But he was under all kind of heat in that pocket.
Tell Ontario Anderson, he was. Look at him. He just comes flying off that corner. You can't really see him there right to the very end. And when you got a guy barreling down on you, you have to throw, and it was just way too high. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad my man there wasn't hurt in the air because he came down from quite a ways. He was up in the air.
Yeah, that was Isaiah Hamilton who came in quickly, who closed on the receiver. And that's a dangerous pass when you hang one over the middle. You know, that's really a tough place. So second down coming up for the Panthers. More pressure against Starks, but he finds a man near the sidelines and he steps out of bounds with a first down for PV.
Just a great job of knowing where the marker is. He literally just ran up to it, sat down, turned, and made an easy target for his quarterback to deliver it.
Travis O'Connor making the catch near the sidelines. Just a good route. Pulled it up. Good timing on the play, and it's a quick first down for the Panthers. So what do you think about Starks so far?
I think he's calming and getting better and better as the game progresses. Doing a great job of leading his team.
Starks throws underneath again. This time it's complete to Travis O'Connor again. And another nice game for the Panthers. So they're doing a good job of moving those sticks and walking the football down the field.
And I like O'Connor's attitude. I was actually just trained on watching what he did. He had 2 or 3 moves in there, which made the defenders literally just stop and back up. They're like, I don't know what you're doing, man, but I'm not letting you get past me. And then that created another 2 or 3 yards. You saw how open he was once that ball got there.
Yeah, he slipped away from Joshua Murray at the end of that play and tacked on about 3 more. So a big first down for PV. This time, Starks pumps it, tries to do the pump and go, and it did not work. Matthew Williams back there for TSU, and he comes away with the INT. So they had success throwing near that sidelines, a couple of passes in a row. That time tried to pump him, and it did not work as Matthew Williams came up with the INT.
Yeah, that's actually going to sound a little crazy, but the Prairie View actually had they were jumping before that ball went. They were lucky there wasn't a call there, but they were rather that call than get the interception here. That ball just floated too much. I mean, we talked about the fact that he was settling in, doing a great job at quarterback and really putting the ball where he needed. That ball there was just way too much air and not enough depth there for his receiver.
Well, it really looked like they were trying to set that play up. A couple of passes to the sidelines. You try that little out and up, and that time the Tigers were not fooled. This time, Williams on a roll to his left completes the pass to number 10, Keelan Davis, with a nice catch and a first down for the Tigers.
Now look at the pace the Tigers are going with right now. You can tell they've got some aggression. They're going on a mission. I like it.
This time, TSU hands it back to Howard inside, and he muscles his way for a gain of about 5 yards.
That was 3 or 4 spins. I stopped counting there as he was going through, but he just would not go down. Yeah, now we got him juking all over the place there, but look at that. 1, 2. Great job running, just committed.
He's been tough tonight. When he's gotten his opportunities, he's done a really good job. And this time, the pitch goes to Howard, and he's upended there after a short gain. Not much room there. Number 23 is Jalen Harris, a young man who had an interception earlier tonight.
Actually, that was kind of a weird catch from the center, actually, and it started off, and I think that threw off the rhythm right from the beginning of that play. When you have a bad snap going to your quarterback and he has to do something weird, especially on a timing play like that, it just messes up the rhythm as that play gets rolling.
Tigers have a man in motion. 3rd and 3 for Devin Williams and the offense for TSU. turns and he hands, and there's nowhere to go in the backfield. Dominic Franklin, the big guy, was number 20, actually on the carry right there for TSU. Jalen Nelson, and just not a lot of room for him to get going.
Yeah, there was no confusion. The defense read that play right from Jump Street there, and they were right on it. There was no room, no holes, no gap. There's nothing to do there. Which, yeah, but I was really expecting Devin Williams to run that option right there on that play.
Well, the PV Panthers are trying to build on a 10-0 lead here in Prairie View with 6:17 to go in the first half as the Tigers from TSU will punt the football away. That means we'll see Sawyer Evans on to kick it away. Evans hits it. Line drive. Going to be fielded there by Darius Campbell. He makes a fair catch, so right at the 10-yard line is where the Prairie View Panthers will come out and start. 1st and 10 from that point. You know, when you look at starters returning this year, you had to like Prairie View because even though they had a different quarterback, they were returning 16 starters, 8 on offense and 8 on defense.
Yeah, and guys with significant playing time, guys who are comfortable. I think whenever you have 2 offensive linemen that are in all conference and they're starting as well, you know, everything starts at the line. When you've got enough time and you've got a base and you can create gaps and you've got that kind of leadership from your offensive line, I think those are key guys when you have enough of those returning. And again, especially as esteemed as they are in Dejon Jones and Danny Garza.
So TJ Starks on the rollout to his left. That is number 7, Christian Mosley on the carry. Not a lot happening right there. Some good, strong defense by the TSU Tigers. That's one of the things Coach McKinney talked about, that he wanted to see his defense play tougher, especially against the run. And we've seen that tonight. They've done a really good job against the run.
Yeah, they've had good interior integrity. That's why they've had to go outside.
This time, Starks, after a bobble, hands it inside, and that play just kind of blew up from the start.
And I just mentioned integrity inside, and if that doesn't show you a postcard of what that looks like, you had 2-3 guys inside making sure if you're going to run on us, it's not going to be up the middle. And again, that's a big when you don't allow someone to run up the middle, it just makes other teams more predictable, and at least you can own a part of the field that you feel confident in. And that's always super important to have something you're like, okay, you may run, but it's not going to come through here.
3rd down and 13 yards to go for a 1st down for the Panthers. Starks from his own end zone. He's hit. The ball goes deep, and it's an incomplete pass. Went way down the field with that one, but he was under a lot of heat in that pocket in his own end zone.
Yeah, Tariq Cooper, he was on a mission. He was stunting all the way, and he was coming hard. And it was a gap. The offensive lineman had to take another guy, and it just led this beautiful trail in there. And he came. What I like, too, is he did step off the gas. I thought he was going to hit him so hard and just stay true to him that I thought he may get a roughing the passer. But he stopped himself and didn't, take him to the ground. So not only good play, but smart play.
Well, it looked like Travis O'Connor hooked up on the play, but Starks had no time to see what was going on, so he just threw it away. And a bad punt off the side of his foot. That's Caleb Darbone, and that may be the biggest mistake of the night for the Panthers. He literally hit it right off the side of his foot, so that should give the Tigers excellent field position as Caleb Darbone comes to the sideline.
Wow, and I'll tell you, I think it was a little worse than the spot, actually. I thought it went out around the 20-yard line. He just shanked it right from the beginning. That ball was just like my golf swing, just non-existent.
Well, the snap came in low, and I think he felt like he had to rush himself after that and never really could connect. So it's a gift for the TSU Tigers. They are in great field position, starting 1st and 10 with the ball resting at about the 24-yard line. So we'll get a look at Devin Williams again. Hands it to Howard, and he runs into a brick wall as the Panthers are not moved an inch. They did not give up an inch there inside.
Yeah, there wasn't any movement whatsoever. And Howard, you can tell he's a little injured there. That same left, I don't know if it's a left hip or left kind of thigh action. It's the second time I've seen him kind of look like that's tweaking him a little bit. And he's played so well so early, but then when you've got 3 or 4 guys nailing you right when you get the ball, that's tough. He's lucky he only lost 2.
Second down, 12 yards coming up for the TSU Tigers. Devin Williams puts a man in motion. That is Owens. Throws the opposite way near the sideline to Morbly, and he made the catch for a short gain for TSU. So when you have great field position like that, they want to come away with some points here, at the very least, a field goal.
No doubt. I like that play, though. It was a quick out, got you 4 yards, 5 yards actually, because you were behind the chains. Now you got a chance here at third down.
Clock is rolling down there, and Devin Williams takes his time getting the play from the sideline. We have 4 minutes to go in the half. 3rd and 7 for the TSU Tigers. Williams has all sorts of pressure underneath, but he gets it to Morbly. Morbly trying to make a move, but he cannot get away. So great defense by Prairie View on both ends, rushing the quarterback and in the secondary staying with the receiver.
I'll tell you, I have to give it to Devin Williams there. He did a phenomenal job. He couldn't run back fast enough to try to get away from the defender there. And the fact that he actually got that ball accurate enough out to not lose the yards was, I thought, fantastic. They didn't gain anything, but that could have been a really a bad play for TSU. You mentioned it a second ago. They really need to get 3 out of it, or at least the attempt off, right? And I think that was a good play by Williams to save it.
So it's a 37-yard field goal attempt coming up by Richard Garcia. Good snap, and it's blocked by the Prairie View Panthers. It was like the Kimbe Macumbo slapped that one out of there, and it goes all the way down the field. So a huge defensive play by the Panthers. You talk about some pressure.
Wow.
Man, there was a race to see who got that one.
It looked like this used to be a track and field event here, Blackshear Field, where the stadium sits, and it looked like a track meet right there. Let's see who can get to the kicker first. That ball was a little on the low side, but there was so much pressure up the middle. It was something else there.
Reggie Stubblefield was the young man who made the block on the field goal attempt. So it was a 37-yard field goal attempt, and as you mentioned, Jorge, it did come out a little low, and Reggie Stubblefield getting the big rush, putting the heat on, got his hands up, and made a great block.
What a turn of events here for TSU. Now their defense is going to hold up.
So the Panthers go to the run. Julian Marcantel comes up and makes a big stop on Ahmad Antoine, who takes the handoff right there for the Panthers. Marcantel, he's an interesting player because Julian was one of their better defensive players, and he was injured last year and had to sit out all of last year. So that's why the Tigers were hurting a little bit on defense. That was just one of the reasons why.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like Marcantel a couple years ago when I saw him first. I remember him being a real impressive linebacker, and he certainly helped this defense. You can tell. There was a couple plays I was going to comment on, but there was a flag thrown, so it didn't matter.
This time it's going to be a keeper by Starks, and he goes around the right side, and Starks finally knocked down by Marcantel and company again, but that will be another first down for the Panthers as the clock kicks down. We have 2:05 to go here in the second quarter.
Look how quick he pulled that ball out. He just sucked that entire defense in. But look at Marcantel.
This time the give is to Antoine in the backfield, and Badajo is there to help him to the ground. And now we have a penalty after the play. And Badajo is holding on to his knee, so we're going to have to let the officials sort this out. But the play, it looked like it was a dead ball foul.
Yeah, I was actually looking elsewhere, and then all of a sudden I see him go down.
Boy, the Tigers can ill afford to lose that young man. Michael Badajo, a 6'2", 265-pound senior from Mansfield.
He's made some plays already today.
after the play, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 60, 15-yard penalty, be second down.
Wow.
Timeout on the field
That's
for injury.
That's on Arrington Taylor, the big 6'5", 340-pound offensive lineman. And, boy, that's a great sign to see Badajoe right there heading to the sidelines. You know, he transferred from SMU a couple of years ago, and he's come in, and he is one of the leaders on this team, no doubt. His team trails.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Welcome back to Panther Stadium, everyone. The PV Panthers with the football in a 10-0 lead. We have 1:47 to go here in the second quarter, and we also have whistles on the field before they can get the play away. So it will be a flag against the offense, and right now Prairie View is moving in the wrong direction.
E9.
Yeah, you know,
replay, second down.
quite honestly, TSU, I want to say it's lucky because you got your punt block, but the way that punt was blocked, it was so far down the field, you thought it was going to turn to 6. And now their defense is bowing up, and then Prairie View's making mistakes that you just can't make. And they're moving themselves backwards.
Yeah, it's second down and what it would take to drive to Waller from here. I mean, they have a lot of real estate going on. The pass by Starks is deep and incomplete as he tried to go over the top, but no damage there by the TSU defense. Good coverage on the play. You know,
Yeah.
PV, we were talking about all the returning players. They actually put 8 players on the preseason all-SWAC team. So that goes to what you were talking about, just how much, not only do they have players back with experience, they're good players.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. And I think they're just only one more than them in the SWACs, Alabama A&M, I believe. So, I mean, they're in great company when it comes to talent and utilizing that talent.
3rd and 30 for the Panthers. Starks, nice pocket, fires over the middle, has a guy still on his feet, and that's a nice gain. He got 20 of it right there. A big play and a good catch right there by Riles, number 85, Kalen Riles.
I was surprised they went that deep. I thought they were going to do a shallower, pass to just set them up in better field goal range, but that obviously, that pass right there puts you in hopefully cementing your 3 points here.
Luis Reyes will come on to attempt another field goal attempt. This one from about 23 yards. Mullins will hold it down. Good snap, good hole. His kick goes up and he splits the upright, and just like that, the PV Panthers get to pad their lead as Luis Reyes hits the field goal. Good kick for the freshman from Cypress. Went to Cywoods High School.
Not too far down the road, quite frankly, right? He can stay at home and go here.
How big was it that PV got some points out of that? Because after the big block, they definitely started going in the wrong direction, and that big pass got them back in range for a field goal.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd one, right? You get momentum because you get a block. You kind of felt like you almost could have turned it into 6. You move the ball down a little bit, and then you just kind of self-implode there with some mistakes, mental errors. And again, mental errors just takes that whole swagger off your team when those happen. It kind of derails you. But the fact that they got 3, and quite honestly, too, though, Butch, I think if you're TSU, you're actually pretty glad you just gave up 3 because it could have been 6.
Yeah, you keep it within 2 scores.
Right.
And you still have a minute and 3 seconds to go in the first half. And, of course, Coach McKinney's going to have to make a decision. Do we try to put more points on the board, or do we try to get out of here down by 13, which I agree with you is really good because we've seen some situations on the field that could have been worse, but it's just a 2-possession game. So the kick is underway, and the Tigers will bring it back from the 6. It's Morbley again, and Morbley with some room to go. Thurman Morbley down the sidelines, and he returns it all the way back almost to midfield.
I would have looked a whole lot smarter if a minute ago I would have said what I wanted to say was it all depends what they're going to do on what kind of return this is. I think that's obvious, but no question about it. Now you're going to try to do something now. And again, with 56 seconds left, time's really not the issue. You're really kind of thinking, hey, look, let's go field goal. Let's run some guys down to stretch this thing out, run some underneath patterns to try to get some yardage to give ourselves a quality shot at a field goal.
And we have an injury timeout on the field. And we've seen a lot of guys kind of go down tonight, and some of it may be conditioning too.
No, what that was a strategy. I don't think the defense was quite ready or set. I think he knew it. He sat down because he jumped right back up once he saw everybody was going. So I'm guessing TSU not going to too much like that kind of strategy because there's no trainers looking at him or anything. He's just he sat down to make sure they were aligned.
Devin Williams has gone all the way at quarterback. Here he is on first down. Steps up, gets out of the pocket, has some room to keep it. He spins and is knocked down as he crosses midfield. A nice little pickup by the quarterback, Devin Williams.
He took a heck of a shot there, showing his toughness, no doubt about it. But I think once he decided, I think he should have ran earlier and he'd have gotten another 4 or 5 yards out of that.
Clock is ticking, down to 35 seconds to go. Williams has to scramble away from pressure again. Going to keep it again, and he had some room. And then all of a sudden, just like that, Darius Campbell said, "Not on my watch," comes up with a big stick for the Panthers.
He turned right face forward into the tackle.
And Williams is down after that big hit. Well, that may be a key play in the ball game.
No question. But the reason why that impact and why he got hit jarred so hard, he literally, as he turned that last moment, he turned right into the tackler coming right at him. They hit him face on. It was certainly a big hello moment right there. And watch him at the end of this play. He'll take that cut with his left foot, turn, and as he does, bam.
And that's how you draw it up. Darius Campbell with a big stick on defense. So we have a timeout on the field.
And it's a clean tackle. I want everybody to know that's a good, clean tackle. His head was up, drove through the tackle.
Here's the upcoming SWAC football schedule presented by USAA, the official military appreciation partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And we're going to watch Devin Williams instead go to the sidelines as the trainers continue to work on him.
I think some of the good news in this is it's right before the halftime, right, Butch? And then therefore he'll get some time to recover. They'll be able to let him, clean the cobwebs, take some air.
And here comes the upcoming schedule for the SWAC. You see Grambling at Prairie View coming up on March 13th. That's a 3 o'clock start. Then we have Mississippi Valley at Jackson State. Jackson State has been great with Deion Sanders at the helm. On March 20th, it's Alabama A&M taking on Prairie View again. And as we get to the bottom row there, you see Arkansas Pine Bluff taking on Grambling. Then again, it's Jackson State. And we have some great games coming up. But this is Ladarius Owens on the carry. Has some room, and he's pushed out of bounds near the 20-yard line. So a nice run by Ladarius Owens for the TSU Tigers.
Love that play. They did a great job there.
Outstanding job. 16 seconds to go in the half. So the Tigers down to only one timeout in this one. Fake inside, fires to Mobley, who's down at about the 1 yard line. 2 yard line there, but what a pass and a quick strike by the Tigers.
They're trying to down it.
Thaddeus Payton has come in for Devin Williams and done an outstanding job. Number 11, he's a 6'4", 210-pound graduate student from Monticello, Mississippi. And how about that pass he threw?
That was an absolute dart. Perfect strike. Great job of the receiver cutting off that inside and turning his body. I just always think when you turn to the inside and you show your numbers to the quarterback, you're going to get a better and a more accurate pass because you're giving them a better target.
Wow, this is interesting. It's very interesting because after that strike, the ball is resting right at the 2 yard line. First and goal, but we only have 4 seconds to go here in the first half. Time enough for another play?
I don't think so. I don't know if you can get something off that quick. I'm surprised they didn't call a timeout, Pastor. But look at that. On a rope. Just a beautiful, beautiful pass and beautiful catch. Great route. It's exactly what you're looking for. But I don't know that you can get off a play and have a second left to be able to walk out your it may be a looks like they're going to do it.
We see Thaddeus Payton coming back on the field. Payton, I mentioned before, is a big quarterback, 6'4", 210-pounder, and he has experience. He's a graduate student, and that's why you have a guy like that on your bench. So first and goal, but 4 ticks to go in the first half. Peyton fakes one way, throws the other way, and it's a touchdown for the TSU Tigers. Jonathan Giles hauls it in. So how about Coach McKinney there? Clarence McKinney rolling the dice. There is 1 second left on the clock, so they would have been able to do it anyway. But it's a beautiful touchdown strike to Jonathan Giles.
Wow, that was absolutely fantastic. Great play call. Excellent execution. Good job, and I'll tell you what, this just changes the game, and we're right back in it.
You know, it looked like the big play they had just hit on the slant earlier in the ball game that took them down to the 2. So Richard Garcia will try to tack on the extra point, and he does. And we have 1 second to go in the first half, and the TSU Tigers are right back in this ball game. Take another look, Jorge.
Yeah, and the fake, I was surprised the defense bought a little bit on it. You had to know it had to be a quick slant or to the outside. And again, you threw a perfect ball. Again, I love that inside cut. Receiver opens up, hit him right between the 0, right in the middle.
Hey, well, let's give Clarence McKinney all the credit in the world because he said, let's go for it, fellas. And he delivered, and he did it with a quarterback that didn't have a lot of time to warm up. Thaddeus Payton came on after Devin Williams was injured. It looked like he injured his shoulder, and Payton came in, and what a beautiful pass.
Man, every pass he's thrown since he walked in there, there was 3 big passes he threw. All of them were right on the money. So, maybe warm-ups just wasted throws for him, right? I don't need to warm up. I don't need to practice. I'm ready to go.
That's a big luxury to have when you lose your starting quarterback right in the middle of a big drive with just seconds to go in the first half, and you can turn around and you can have a guy like that on your bench and you can call on him and he can answer the call like that. I mean, that was a really nice drive, and the Tigers did a great job taking it down there to get some points on the board before the half. So here comes the kickoff. This should be the last play of the half. Ball is mishandled there. It's number 87 on the return. That is Kobe Washington. And the officials say that's it. That is the end of the first half, but it came to a close with some excitement as the TSU Tigers got a big drive thanks in no small part to Thaddeus Payton, the backup quarterback.
Yeah, Thaddeus Payton stepped in. I mean, and you mentioned it, a graduate who comes in. He's part of your program. He's had some playing time, and comes in there and just calm. And again, I think the most important part was how accurate he was. And we have a football game here. Panthers up 30.
Now, you're on Cricket and by Pepsi Zero Sugar, official football sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And we have a SWAC conference game tonight, and what a shootout it has been. A lot of good defense, but we saw a great drive at the end of the first half by the TSU Tigers to get back into the ball game. As you can see the score, 13-7. The Prairie View Panthers are on top. They lead the TSU Tigers, but that drive at the end of the half was a big drive for TSU because it got them back in the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, and how big, right? Again, I'm going to back you up a little bit more. The block field goal, you think you're getting 3 as your TSU. Instead, you get a blocked field goal, and you thought, heck, that may be 7 the other way. He fumbles, you stop, right? You get him, move him back, you settle for a 3, then you come back and you drive. You get the great return on special teams, which puts you in business to go ahead and try to move. You get a couple of runs. Even when your quarterback gets hurt, right? You get a guy step up off the bench and be as accurate as anyone on the field right now as far as throwing the ball.
Well, you had 2 new quarterbacks starting this year, starting tonight, and when you look at the first half as a whole, they both did some really good things, and they did some things that they probably need to work on at halftime. Sure.
I think, you saw a couple of 2 or 3 bad decisions, and then you had a little bit of inaccuracy. One that floated on you, right?
Yeah.
And then you had one that, miscommunication, whether, hey, is my receiver going to go on the go route or is he going to come back? So that'll cost you. But I think defensively, what I've seen out of both of them are some real good aggressive tackling. Yeah. You haven't seen guys break a lot of tackles. And I think that's surprising to me. For one, not just it's early in the spring season, but the fact you're playing in spring, that tackling is as good as it is.
Well, you look at the defense tonight by the Panthers. It's been absolutely outstanding because minus that last drive before the half, they held TSU in check.
Oh, yeah. I mean, TSU could not other than the very first drive on the first like 5 or 6 plays where they had some rhythm, they were getting 5 yards on the first couple plays. After that, they've just never been able to find anything to hang their hat on. And again, they're going to have to find a way to command. Their best defense, too, is going to be keeping offensive drives moving and keeping the Panthers off the field.
Let me ask you quickly, getting those points on the board, getting that touchdown right before the half, how much momentum does that give Texas Southern?
You would have had a really locker room sitting in there with, hey, our starting quarterback went out. We're not sure what's going on. Holy smokes. But instead, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Not only are we not going to be down as much as we thought, but we had a backup come in there and just show us, hey, regardless of that situation with my starting quarterback, we're okay, right? We can do something. So I think it was absolutely huge. Now in there, they're talking strategy, adjustments like they would anyway, and they're trying to figure out, and they got the team believing, hey, we're in this.
Well, they are in it because it's 13-7 down on the field with the Prairie View Panthers clinging.
We're at Prairie View A&M, an exciting game of SWAC football. The classic, Labor Day Classic in the spring. Gotta love it. Prairie View A&M up 13-7 over TSU. It's on ESPN3. We'll be back in a moment.
And it's still anybody's ball game here in Prairie View, Louisiana, as the TSU Tigers trail the Prairie View Panthers 13-7. That is our halftime score. Let's check out how we got to this point. As you can see, there were fans in the stands, so that is always good to see. TJ Starks got something going there to Travis O'Connor, but then TSU with the ball and a big stick coming up right there by the defense from PV. And then the interception, Jalen Harris. That would be the first turnover of the game. And right after that, Starks trying to take advantage. Rolls out of the pocket, scrambles, turns it back inside, and then look at this. Starks with a pass over the middle to 87, Kobe Washington. And this was the play of the first half. One of them, actually. The pass to 86, Ty Holden. He almost got it in, but this guy did. Number 5, Ahmad Antoine, is in for the touchdown. PB continued to play good, solid defense. And then look at this. This time we have PB on the attack. And TSU comes away with the turnover. Matthew Williams on the interception to give the ball to the Tigers. And then, after their starting quarterback, Devin Williams, was injured. That's Ladarius right there with a big run for the Tigers. Ladarius Owens. But then watch this guy. This is the guy we're talking about. He comes on off the bench. Thaddeus Payton. After Williams was injured, Thaddeus Payton comes into the ball game, throws 3 big passes down the stretch, led to a touchdown, got Jonathan Giles there on the slant pass, and that pulled TSU to within 13-7. And that was really the only thing the Panthers gave up the entire first half. As we take a look at some of the stats, Jorge, take a look at what catches your attention when you first look at the stats at first glance.
Well, I mean, I think when you look at it, Prairie View A&M, you like the stats, you like the fact you dominated the ball. You have 17 minutes to TSU's 12. And again, all those points came at the very end for TSU. I think rushing yards for TSU has been very important because it's helped slow down a bit when they've been successful on the rush. It's slowed down the PV attack on them. So I think those are things that stick out. You're even on turnovers. You got a pretty even game, but Prairie View A&M's got to feel like they should be further up.
13-7 at the half. We're getting set to kick.
You can send clothes that fit your shape and your life. Get started today.
Welcome back to Prairie View. We're in Texas where everything is bigger, and especially the football. And right now, the PV Panthers lead the TSU Tigers in their big rivalry matchup, 13-7 at the half. And of course, my friend, we are in Texas. You can't get too excited about things, and that's what happened to me. But we're in Prairie View, Texas.
I know. Well, let's face it, we're both from Louisiana originally, so maybe that's part of the. We want some Cajun food or something.
Let's turn now and check out some of the statistics from the first half, because when you look at the rushing attack, Coach Clarence McKinney was very, he wanted to do better rushing stopping the run. And when you look at it, they did a pretty good job because the leading rusher for Prairie View was T.J. Starks, the quarterback, 6 carries for 30 yards.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job. We talked about a little bit earlier. Their integrity of the interior defense didn't allow Prairie View A&M to kind of start ripping on it, right? And that dictates certain things, and it gives you some confidence, something you can hang your hat on, and that's exactly what they did. And I thought that was a big key for them to just have some confidence and some swagger on defense.
And on the other side, I expect to see more of Ja'Cory Howard in the second half because if you look at his impact, 10 carries for 62 yards, 53 in net. That's a pretty good average. He did real well running the football.
Yeah, and it's hard running, right? I mean, he was slamming in there, running extremely hard. And again, almost every time he touched the ball, there were good, positive plays and put him in good shape.
He did. Give me some of your thoughts on what we can expect to see in the second half. If you're in the locker room, let's start in the PV locker room. You control the ball the entire first half. You have the lead 13-7 at the half.
I think the thing you're talking about from the coaching staff in there is missed opportunities, right? They had a few open receivers that they didn't connect with early. They had some plays, and I think the biggest thing is the mental errors, right? They had a lot. I don't know how many flags we had total, but there was a ton of them early. And I think you got to say, guys, we got to clean it up. We got to take off on the snap of the ball, quit jumping. You know, all the flags. It's been, you can't have it. I mean, I think that's a big message I would be having on the team right now. You got to think.
On the other side, if you're Clarence McKinney, what are you telling your team at the half?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what quarterback's coming out. I think that's a big question. I think you also talk about the confidence that you guys can have. We can get something done. See, guys, we can make something happen. Let's make some big plays. And here's your special teams right now making a nice little turn right there.
Thurman Mobley to start the second half, and there go the flags. He's near the sidelines, and boy, the yellow laundry came out in a hurry over there. So he's done a great job returning kickoffs tonight.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some type of face mask or something. Yeah, it looked like there were way too many hands up top in the air there. Late hit.
So
Thaddeus
that late
Payton
hit
looks like he's coming out.
Kendon Jones was the guy who got hit with the penalty, and that's going to be a big one as the officials step that one off. That one's going to hurt. We got the word there from Marty Adams, our referee for tonight. So TSU will get the football with Thaddeus Payton at quarterback. Fakes the handoff, and he threw it behind his intended receiver, Jaron Johnson. He was open on the play ball, just a tad behind him.
Absolutely love the play call, though, right there. He rides him in a little bit. Just looked like it may have gotten tipped, actually, on that replay on the offensive line. I didn't see it from a live standpoint, but it looked like it may have altered its direction there. So maybe it wasn't him off target there.
So in case you missed it and you're just joining us, Thaddeus Payton came on when Devin Williams was injured near the end of the first half and led TSU on a scoring drive. So he is back to start the second half. We'll see if we can get you an update on Williams' condition. Meanwhile, that was Ladarius Owens on the carry for TSU. So that's going to put them in a 3rd and about 7 situation.
And besides that special teams return, I think Owens' run was the biggest reason why also helping set up that big score at the end of the half. One rush for 22 yards at the half.
Payton under pressure, and he goes down. So the TSU defense, the Prairie View defense, provided the pressure and a big stop by Jason Dumas. He changed his number on us tonight, but that's the big fella right there, number 1. Jason Dumas, 5'10", 230 pounds.
And you don't want your quarterback bending like that at all on any circumstance. Whew.
And as you can see on the sidelines, right away the coaches are getting with Thaddeus Payton, trying to get him on the same page with everybody else. It kind of looks just from that shot like he may be going the rest of the second half as the TSU Tigers will punt the football back to Prairie View. A fair catch is called for and made. So the Panthers will come out. They will start near their 28-yard line, 1st and 10. So we will get a chance to see whether or not they could do something offensively on the ground.
Yeah, and I think the defense of TSU also is Prairie View A&M is probably going to say, okay, let's see if we can hit that interior, loosen them up a little bit. But I think if you're Prairie View A&M Panthers, I think I would go up top and I would challenge them. I'd try to spread them out.
And we have Trezon Connolly stepping into the ball game for the Panthers. So we have another quarterback for PV now. And of course, Connolly, he did see some action last year, passing for over 700 yards. He had 749 yards. There's Connolly right there. Of course, he's a sophomore, redshirt sophomore from Dallas, went to Duncanville High School. This guy threw 7 touchdowns last year.
That's interesting. I don't know if it's a message from the coach or just not seeing the execution level where it needed to be, but it's an opportunity for Connolly.
Connolly with a nice pocket, throws one down the field, has his receiver, and it's going to be broken up. But number 13, Travis O'Connor, goes high, and for just a minute, it looked like he might be able to bring it down.
That was a great defensive play there. He did a great job. It was a beautiful throw, though, as tight as the coverage was. It was a nice throw. And again, Conley comes out slinging.
Well, he's not shy, but what a great play right there by number 12, Joshua Murray. At the last second, he got that hand up, and he was able to knock it away, or it would have been a big completion. This time, Connolly under pressure, scrambling around, being chased, throws out near the sideline, and it's going to be an incompleted pass. So the TSU defense putting some pressure on Trezon Connolly in that PV backfield.
Both defenses, we talked about adjustments, and obviously these defenses, are raring to go. You got 2 3-and-outs, one from TSU, one from Prairie View A&M now. Now you're going to see, if the defenses keep stepping up, what offense is going to be able to make the plays? Both of them have basically new quarterbacks in there. Are Prairie View A&M going to keep that quarterback? We'll see what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting.
Caleb Darbon and the punt. Got a nice snap. Good high kick. Mobley's going to watch it bounce, and it takes a PV bounce as the ball is finally going to be down to around the 18-yard line. And that is where the Tigers will come back on offense, trailing 13-7 here in Prairie View, Texas. Welcome back, everyone, to a beautiful night at Panther Stadium, where we have what is normally the Labor Day Classic, but boy, I tell you what, it's just as good and just as competitive in the springtime, as the TSU Tigers are back on the field to go on offense to take on the Prairie View Panthers. And as we look in the backfield, Thaddeus Payton, still at quarterback, does hand it off to number 22, Ladarius Owens, and that play didn't look too smooth. A little mix-up there in the backfield.
Yeah, the snap went into Thaddeus's gut. He didn't catch it with his hands. Watch this. See, it gets all the way in his gut, but he's able to control it. And then Owens does a great job of really too much traffic, and he makes 4 yards out of nothing, 3 yards out of nothing.
Yeah, they've run the ball really well tonight. 2nd down and about 6 to go, and he goes inside. Again, it's Owens. And Owens kept those legs churning, trying to pick up everything he could there.
First down.
First down coming up right there for the Tigers. Trayshot Smith, one of the Panthers on the stop for that defense. This time, Payton hands it again. Straight ahead is Owens, and this time he has nowhere to go because Story Jackson made the stop. Story Jackson and Trayshot Smith, when you combine them, they're 2 of the best combinations in the SWAC as far as when you talk about defensive stoppers.
Oh, yeah. No, and they bring the hammer, too. That's and you're right. They're very consistent, and when they get there, they make their presence known. It's not just it's a truck you run into with these guys.
So 2nd down coming up for the TSU Tigers. Payton, this time, steps a little bit to his left, fires, tries to hit Mobley. Pass was a little hard, and it's incomplete, so that's going to bring up a 3rd down for the Tigers. So maybe they're a little anxious coming out here in the second half.
Well, I liked the very first drive when they had the little slant pattern inside. That was just a miscue by Thaddeus, but I thought the play was open, and they haven't come back to that. And maybe here on this big 3rd down play, you'll see a slant pattern inside.
TSU in the white jerseys tonight. Thaddeus Payton at quarterback, facing a 3rd and 9 for the Tigers. This time he fires out near the sidelines and nobody's there, but we have a flag on the play. He was trying to hit Jaron Johnson again near the sideline, and there was some contact on the play.
Yeah, no, there was more than contact. It was almost tackling before the receiver could even get there. And some people say, well, the ball's uncatchable. Yeah, some people might try to say, well, the ball was uncatchable. It was uncatchable because your receiver was stopped in the middle of his tracks. And if you watch this right here, as we roll forward here, you can't really see the receiver, but he was stopped. It was a good call there.
So a big first down for the TSU Tigers and a bad snap on the play. Peyton gives chase, so does Owens. Owens picks it up, tries to get something going, but boy, what a big mistake by the Tigers. High snap. Thaddeus Payton never had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been Yao Ming. I don't think he'd have grabbed that one.
No, I don't think so.
We have ex-NBA players referenced so far, Timmy Mutombo and Yao Ming today.
That's going to be about an 11-yard loss on the play, so that's going to back the Tigers way up. 2nd and 21. Peyton underneath, has his man. It's a completed pass to Davis, and Davis works his way close to midfield before he's finally hit by Story Jackson again. Jackson's been all over that field tonight doing a great job, but we have another penalty flag down on the field. Let's see. No, the officials just spotted the football, so we will continue play.
They just picked it up. I think something fell.
Yeah, and that'll be third down.
Big third down here. And that play gave him this opportunity right here.
3rd and about 6 for the Tigers. Peyton, nice pocket, throws underneath, has Morbely. Morbely will have a first down for TSU. So that time that crossing pattern has been big for them.
Yeah, and that's a little bit different than the slant I was talking about. That drag, it's just you're actually bringing your receiver up 5 to 7 yards, and you just have him come right over the middle. And again, it's also an easy target.
And you see the Tigers again, picking it up in chunks now, and we have an injured player on the field. Wow. And he's looking, looks like it's a knee. It's number 10. That's Keelan Davis. He's the 6'2", 183-pound senior from Navarro College. And, boy, that doesn't look good.
Now, it doesn't look good because immediately, as soon as he went down, he was hitting that knee.
Well, while they paused for a timeout on
the AMP sustained protein in on-the-go cereal flavors.
Well, the TSU Tigers are on a drive, trailing Prairie View 13-7 here in the third quarter, and the handoff goes inside right there for a nice game. Ball is loose. Prairie View tries to fall on it. TSU tried to fall on it, and it looked like the Panthers will come up with it. After all that, it was a nice run. It was a big gain. And then Prairie View comes away with the fumble recovery. That was number 58, Desmond Obi. And what a big play. A nice run by the Tigers, but then the ball was knocked out.
Oh, that is heartbreaking right here. And again, a good run. He's got the ball high and tight. He's holding, but the helmet went directly on the football.
Jalen Nelson was the ball carrier for the Tigers, and then there's a mad scramble for the football, and the Panthers come away with another takeaway tonight, and that one may have cost the Tigers some points because they were working on a nice drive.
They sure were. Now, again, hopefully this, if you're a Tigers fan, the defense steps up.
Well, as you heard the official for tonight right there, Marty Adams, they're going to take another look at that to see if it was actually a fumble that took place before the mad scramble. So we have the official review on the field, and that was Jalen Nelson, who hasn't really had a lot of carries tonight. And that one broke big, and he was open. So let's take a look and see if it was actually a fumble on the field.
And look, he's holding the ball perfect, exactly how you coach it. It's high and tight. He's got it covered, but
That's
the
out.
shoulder goes right in there, and that ball is flying out.
Shoulders on the football, and that looked like a fumble from that view. The ball looked like it came out early. Here's another look at it again. You see Nelson cutting back, going inside, and that's a perfect hit on the football.
After review, the ruling on the field of a fumble is confirmed. It'll be first down and 10, Prairie View.
So Marty Adams and company confirms the play, the call on the field as it is. So the PV Panthers will get the football, and number 14, Trezon Connolly, will stay in at quarterback for PV, and he'll be operating out of his own end zone here to start the second half. And that might be a safety. Julian Marcantel in the backfield, and it is a safety, a big hit by Julian Marcantel. We talked a lot about that young man in the first half. There it is. He's the senior from Sulphur, Louisiana, back from season-ending surgery, and boy, there's no plays bigger than that one tonight. He just shot the gap on that.
He has really been a huge impact for TSU inside. He's dominated everywhere.
Mosley takes the handoff, and it's just he had no chance. Now, you think they might take a look at that to see where the ball is spotted as to whether or not the football was in the end zone or not?
Yeah, I think they're going to look at that again. I certainly, if I'm the Panthers, I think he was able to show force outside the end zone.
Well, let's take another look because it was really hard to see from that angle. Here's another angle.
I don't know if you're going to catch it on this one, but his feet were. But I mean, it looks like he's got the ball in that right arm, and he's just outside the end zone.
Well, let me throw something else at you for you to digest, Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing if the tackle, if he's at the one and he's hit by the tackle and he drives him into the end zone. What if he takes a step back with his own momentum?
Well, I think once he takes his own momentum backwards, I think then he's behind. But right there, he reached out. I don't know. That's
very close play.
I think I would. I don't know that I would say that's a safety, but looks like they reviewed it. It's going to be a safety.
So a big play by the Texas Southern defense, and Julian Marcantel really stopping Christian Mosley in the end zone for a safety. So the Tigers will get the football on offense, and it's Mobley on the return. Starts back to his left, and then he's taken down at about the 27-yard line. So what a turn of events here.
Yeah, and you get the ball back, right? I mean, you get the ball back. You just had a big play, got yourself a quick two. Now, again, I think it helps the momentum for TSU because you really thought you were on a drive to get points anyway, right? You had that fumble. You made the mistake, but you get two out of it, so you kind of feel like you're okay. And I think that hopefully, will calm down TSU. Now, on the other hand, I think the Panthers, their defense has got to they've been playing well all night. They got to step up and make a play.
And the pass from Peyton is complete to number 85, Osby Mitchell. And that's what they did well on the last drive. They got it in chunks, and they moved the ball down the field. So that's a good play on first down to move the sticks for the TSU Tigers.
Yeah, and that's more of a slant pattern, not that drag route that got them down the field, but it's effective.
Thaddeus Payton at quarterback. Gives it to Owens. Owens has some room on the outside. He turns the corner, and now it's a foot race. Owens is finally shoved out of bounds by Bryce Turner. But a big gain by Ladarius Owens for the Texas Southern Tigers.
Owens did a phenomenal job. But I have to talk about Keelan Davis. Watch the receiver outside. He is on that block from the time this play. Well, he is still on that defensive back. He never let him go. He kept driving on him. Absolutely one of the best blocks from a receiver I've ever seen because he was on him from the get-go and would not let go, and that allowed that play to be so big.
And that's how you draw it up in practice right there. That's Jalen Harris. He had an interception early in the game. It looks like he may be suffering from cramps as they're rubbing down the calves on the sideline, his calf there. But what a big run there by Owens. And, Owens had a fine year last year. He rushed for over 400 yards coming in the backfield before, he took over. And they were looking for him to provide a lot of the speed and the quickness in this ballgame tonight. Let's take another look at the upcoming schedule in the SWAC. You can see some big games, some exciting games just like tonight. Grambling's going to take on Prairie View right here. Mississippi Valley goes to Jackson State. Alabama A&M will take on Prairie View. Then March 20th, how about Arkansas Pine Bluff going down to Grambling on the Bayou there, and then Jackson State at Alabama State, and then Southern at Texas Southern also on March 20th. Tigers with a 1st and 10. And this time the Prairie View defense rises to the occasion.
Yeah, they're not going to let them come inside like that. Again, most TSU's yards have come off tackle to the outside. And again, I think the vision of Owens has really been special. He's really done a great job there.
That was Jason Dumas into the backfield, and of course we talked a lot about him. He had 53 tackles last year, 5.5 sacks, so he's one of the forces on that Prairie View defensive line. He made a big stop there. So the Tigers come up with a 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Pass near the sideline. It's a completed pass. Still on his feet is 81 Johnson, and he muscles his way down inside the 10, maybe all the way down to the 7-yard line.
Again, impressive with the blocking down the field and the receivers. That allows big plays.
Tigers going up tempo. Owens with the carry, and he has nowhere to go this time. Jesse Evans was right there to make the play.
Yeah, that's the previous play right here. And again, look at the receivers all on their man, engaged, allowing that play to get them another 8 to 10 yards.
Just a great downfield blocking by those receivers. You pointed it out. And now the Tigers are looking at a 1st and goal with the ball marked. It was pulled back to the 11-yard line. High snap, maintained by Payton, and the pitch to Owens. And Owens looks like he's down to about the 4-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. So Ladarius Owens providing some of that speed and quickness for the TSU offense.
Thaddeus right there. That play of catching a bad snap and then have the wherewithal to be able to pitch it as accurately as he did, that was fantastic. That's a play that will go unnoticed by most, but trust me, coaches will be sitting there saying that was fantastic.
Tigers have a 3rd down now. Goal to go. Some pressure coming inside. Pass to the corner, and it is caught for a touchdown for the TSU Tigers. That is Osby Mitchell. Perfect throw, perfect catch for the touchdown. Thaddeus Payton to Osby Mitchell in the corner.
Let me tell you, if you're a defensive back, you can't cover any better than that was covered. That's one of those ones you absolutely watch this. That ball was thrown perfect, but the defender was right there. Perfect coverage. There was a small window for that ball to be caught. An absolutely fantastic catch, and just, if anything, a better throw, if it's possible.
Man, Bryce Turner turned his head around just a fraction late, and that's when that ball sailed past his head. And just like that, the extra point is good, and the TSU Tigers have moved in front at Prairie View. We'll be back. And after a nice drive, the Texas Southern Tigers have taken the lead in this ball game for the first time tonight on a touchdown drive by backup quarterback Thaddeus Payton through a perfect pass in the corner to Osby Mitchell for the catch. And just like that, the Tigers are out in front 16-13. We have 6:28 to go here in the 3rd quarter. So we will see how Prairie View responds after that touchdown drive.
Yeah, Thaddeus Payton's shown some great poise. Great job of taking over when your other quarterback, your starting quarterback goes down. How are you going to react? How's your team going to react? And he's done a great job of leading this team.
And the kickoff goes out of bounds, so that will be a flag, and that will give the Panthers excellent field position to start this drive. And it'll be interesting to see, Jorge, who they come back with at quarterback. We had Trayvon Connolly getting some action the last time they had the football.
Yeah, it will be. But I want to make one quick comment about a kick out of bounds. So your team gets moving. You got you take advantage. You're up now 16-13. You come up and you kick the ball out of bounds, giving the team a great field position at the 35-yard lines. Those are the kind of, I'm already bald, so I can't pull my hair out. But coaches will pull their hair out on simple things like that to get a drive started.
So the Panthers have it with the pass underneath, and it's complete to Chris Johnson. and he picks up 5 yards there on the little short crossing route. So right away, they come out and hit something simple that they knew they could complete and move on.
And it's Connolly out there, right? So you had that question of what they were going to do, and Connolly comes out, and they run that little kind of a drag route again, get 5-6 yards on the play. See where they go from here.
Second down and about 4 yards to go, and this time Connolly comes, looks downfield, has a man near the sidelines, and he hauled it in. Looks like a completed pass there, according to the official. Now the other official is coming in. They're going to talk about it, but they're putting it down. A nice catch by Tony Mullins, tap dancing right there on the sideline. Boy, and that's a big penalty that's really going to hurt the Panthers on that play. Oh, but you have to like Connolly, buying some extra time, getting out of the pocket, rolling to his left, and keeping his eyes downfield.
Yeah, no, look at Connolly. He does a good job, head up all the time. And in my mind, I was thinking, look, you just need to run it, get what you can out of it, and just throws a perfect dart in there. And, gets the play, and all of a sudden now you got to back up and do it again.
Well, that play is going to hurt because it takes a huge play off the board. And now the good thing about it on that play is it's only second down. So they can go back to work. They run it inside. That is number 7, Christian Mosley. And Mosley, look at the leg drive as he takes it for a first down.
Wow. The very beginning of that was all him. He was not getting any push from any other lineman or anything. Watch him squeeze through. And then right there, they call it when you get behind your pads and you run. He just got so low and just started driving forward, moving and churning those legs.
And the official comes out and wants to slow things down until everything is set. This time Connolly dodges one would-be tackler, but then he's dropped in the backfield by another one. So just like that TSU defense has come alive here in the second half.
Yeah, Demontario Anderson, he's showing a lot of energy, and I think this defense all together, and again, we've talked about it before, I think Julian Marcantel has just kind of ignited his whole team there, and they're playing with some great aggression.
Julian came out and made that tackle on the safety, and that got it all started. And what a perfect pass there from Connolly. Puts it right in Kobe Washington's hands. Hit him in a bad spot. Because you can't throw a football much better than that one was.
Yeah, and those type of plays right there, when like I said, when you asked me what my thoughts were for Prairie View A&M, I felt like there were opportunities that they didn't capitalize on. And that one right there certainly was a huge opportunity I mean, that's a 35, 40-yard gainer right there that you literally let slip through your hands.
Well, and that's 2 big plays on this drive. If you really want to look at it like that. Now
True.
We have a third and about 14 yards coming up for the Panthers. Connolly with a nice pocket, and he overshoots his receiver there. That's going to be an incomplete pass. Was trying to hit Ty Holden right there on the deep slant, and just a little too strong on that pass.
Yeah, for once, I mean, that's actually the first miscue for Connolly as far as accuracy goes. He throws a little high there, but I mean, again, the play calling, I love the play calling, what they're doing, how they're getting guys open. The offense coordinator, the head coach, his job is to get players opportunities to make plays. You can't make it for them. And I'm where they need to do right now for Prairie View A&M is don't let themselves get caught up in what's missed.
Darboe under pressure got the punt away, and it's going to be high and short. It goes out of bounds. Looks like it's right at the 22-yard line. So the pressure, again, in the punter's face. So they've done a really good job of putting pressure on him all night long.
Yeah, let me expand what I was just talking about Eric Dooley and the Panthers as far as, you get frustrated when you have opportunity and you don't take advantage of it, and it happens over and over. It can start collecting where, it's just one of those nights, it's against us. And I think that's where they just got to stay fresh and say, look, guys, we're inches away from making great things happen, and keep your focus there.
This time TSU on the attack. Owens slips away from one guy and couldn't do much after that. Number 1, Jason Dumas in the backfield. He kind of got away from that big guy, but the rest of the Panthers defense got there quickly. So that's Ladarius Owens, number 22 in the backfield. He played 10 games last year, only rushed for 2 touchdowns, but he did have over 400 yards rushing. This time, a nice job by Payton. Looked at the running back, came off him, and then came back over the middle to Osby Mitchell, and Mitchell makes a nice catch.
Again, it's that inside move that they've had a lot of success with the Tigers.
This time, Owens tried that little spin move, but he couldn't spin away from number 1, Jason Dumas, one of the first Panthers to get there. So he's starting to assert himself here in this ball game with 3:15 to go here in the third quarter. 2nd down and 9 for the Tigers. Thaddeus Payton. If you're just joining us, Thaddeus Payton came in the game right before the half when the starting quarterback, Devin Williams, was injured. He engineered a scoring drive, and he's been in all the way at quarterback. Here he is, 2nd and long. Gives to Owens. Owens on a sweep left, and Owens fighting for that extra yardage. Comes up very close to the first down. Looks like he's about a yard shy.
Let me tell you what, there's nothing more that gives your team confidence when you start getting some success on the run and you feel like you can start creating the line of scrimmage right there. And that's exactly what TSU is doing right now. Big 3rd down here.
So this time Owens takes it again, and what a play in the backfield by Troy James. Reached out and grabbed his jersey, and the big fellow would not let go. Pulled down Owens. And it looks like they're going to mark him a yard short. So the TSU, the offense, is not leaving the field.
And watch him. He gets him right before he can start getting drive on his legs, and he starts getting the momentum forward. He got him right before he can really get the wheels moving.
4th down and 1 coming up for the Tigers. They get to the line quickly. Looks like it could be a quarterback sneak. The ball is dropped. And I don't know if he got there after the bobble of the snap. Thaddeus Payton bobbled the snap, trying to go quickly. And it looked like the PV defense has come up with a huge stop on 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't even matter who recovers the ball. It goes over on downs at this point. I didn't see any surge whatsoever.
Ball will go over on downs. It will be 1st down, Prairie View.
Well, they came out of the huddle quickly, did the Tigers. Then they got up to the line of scrimmage, and they could not snap the ball when they first got there. And then there you can see the mishandle.
Yeah, and I thought for sure they were actually going to draw him off. I didn't think they were actually going to go for that at all, and it backfired. You know, you make a call like that, if you get it, you know, everything's awesome, life's good. When you don't, it's tough.
Well, they couldn't snap the ball as fast as they wanted to, and that's where the mix-up occurred. They saw PV was a little late coming out of the huddle. They tried to go quickly, and they could not get it done. So that's a big turnover right there. And Connolly comes right back with a big pass near the sideline to Travis O'Connor, and he hauls it in. So great field position for the Prairie View offense as they take over after that big stop on 4th and short.
Yeah, that won't show up as a, excuse me, but that won't show up as a turnover, but it sure feels like one if you're TSU. And I think Prairie View right here needs to attack, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something go deep.
1:28 to go here in the third quarter. Connolly dumps it off to his back. That is Mosley. Mosley is finally tripped up after a nice gain. He got close to the sticks, and it'll pin on the mark. It looks like he's a little short. So it will be 3rd down coming up for the Panthers. But this may be one of those big momentum shifts in this ball game. It just felt like it on that 4th down play.
Yeah, no. And then again, right here, TSU could get it back with the stop right here.
3rd down and short. Pass is dropped. Panthers had a chance to get the 1st down. Chris Johnson had it right in a bad spot. Could not hold it up. But look at Prairie View going right back to the line. 4th down and about 3 yards to go. And they don't hesitate. They do just like the Tigers. Right. They come right back. Another crucial play in this ball game. 4th and 3 for the PV Panthers. Connolly will throw it. Comes back the opposite way, and Texas Southern comes up with a great defensive play. Number 26, Isaiah Hamilton. And it looked like the Tigers just sniffed that play out.
Yeah, they were coming all the way, and usually and they were running that little bit of delay screen on that outside. And sometimes the play call was great. I just think TSU played it so well. And again, they've had really short tackling today, right? Both teams have, quite frankly. You haven't seen too many backs breaking a lot of tackles or juking guys out. And right there, the defense, despite them being on a huge sellout blitz, they were able to read it enough and back up enough and be able to make that tackle. But the Panthers had a ton of blockers out front of this thing.
You look at the goals for the game, the TSU defense, we're ahead of schedule. Last year they gave up 258 yards rushing a game. They're well under that right now. So they're really proud of the effort. And look at this one. Deep pass by Peyton going way out there, and he overthrew everybody. He was trying to hit Morbely on a streak, but the closest guy was the defender on the play for the Panthers, Darius Campbell. But he was just airing that one out. That's one that keeps you on your toes.
It does. It does. And again, that's probably the second non-accurate throw I've seen him throw. It was way too much air underneath it. It just wasn't there.
You know, I didn't mention earlier, but Peyton ended up at Texas Southern coming from Alcorn State. So he's a transfer player. This time he gives to Owens, and Owens is picking his spot, trying to make something happen. But number 20, we talked about him at the top of the broadcast, Trayshawn Smith, showing why he is an all SWAC player going from sideline to sideline.
Yeah, and right there, he played mad right there. I mean, he read that play, and I saw the angle he took. You know, we're high up here. You can really see the angles that a player takes. And he just did a great job. And again, once he got there, you finish. It's one thing to read a play and see what's going on. Can you finish? Can you make a stop? And that's exactly what he did.
Penalty on the play.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Tigers are guilty of holding again. That was Nate Hines, number 72. He's the center. You know, many think he's the best offensive lineman on the team, and that was a huge mistake there because that's going to back the Tigers way back on second down. Second and about 20 now.
Was that drag route?
Peyton steps up in the pocket. And he's not quite as smooth running the football as he is throwing. I mean, he looks like a prototypical quarterback, but he got out of the pocket and got some of that penalty yardage back.
Yeah, well, what happened was there was that drag route, and once he missed the timing of that, he had nowhere else to go.
Third and 13. Peyton steps out of the pocket again, works it out to the sideline, and it's going to be very close on the sideline. The official says he made the catch. Whoa, what a play over there by Keelan Davis, and he is down, but you could see him extend that foot, trying to make sure he could get it in bounds right there near the sideline.
Excellent catch right there.
So the end of the third quarter comes on a high note with the reception by the Tigers for a first down. And boy, what a play by Davis there. They're going to come over and take a look. He's still down. And we've seen some players with cramps tonight. We don't want to speculate and see. This was a big fumble in the play in the game tonight. We've seen both teams playing extremely hard on the defensive end. Look at Julian Marcantel.
Us who don't want just the same. Harry's razors are here. Harry's, not the same. Available in-store and at harrys.com.
Welcome back to Prairie View, everyone. And you can see the TSU Tigers leading their rivals from PV 16-13 as we get set to start the fourth quarter. They turn things around, so Texas Southern going the other way now. First and 10. Peyton again steps up, finds a man, throws underneath. That's going to be close to another first down. Number 13 making the catch, Bryson McKinney. And that's going to set up a second and about 2 yards to go. So good job looking inside and moving the sticks. And you can see the Tigers picking up the tempo now. Thaddeus Peyton at quarterback. He's gone the entire second half, working with Ladarius Owens in the backfield. This time he gives it to Owens. Owens has a first down and more. Still on his feet, cuts back, and Owens drives it all the way down near the 10-yard line with another first down for TSU.
You know, obviously Owens has great skills, great athletic skills, but his vision is really, really good. And once he makes that cut, he's just very demonstrative.
Tigers picking up the tempo. Once again, back at the line of scrimmage. Trying to keep the momentum going. The give to Owens again, jumps over one would-be tackler, and then he's taken down as he gets the football just inside the 10-yard line. Looked like it was Story Jackson that he jumped over. But he's the workhorse here in the second half.
Yeah, Owens is playing man. After that play right before this one, he was fighting with the defender who tackled him. And right now, actually, he's jogging off trying to catch some breath. He's been working, no question about it.
I'm sure Coach McKinney is just very excited with the play of Thaddeus Payton here, who came in and really they weren't looking for him to really play that much tonight. He's had to step up, and he's answered the call. This time, his option pitch is blocked, and Payton went back and caught it again. Now the ball is loose, still loose, and Texas Southern comes down with the football. But what a great athletic play on defense to block the option pitch. Payton goes over to catch it, and it's knocked loose from him, and then the Tigers recover.
You don't see this often. Wow.
Story Jackson.
Great play.
That was 96 Jesse Evans who stripped it away from Payton. But what a play. I mean, what an outstanding play.
Oh, what a way to recover that.
You talk about your quick reflexes. You got Thaddeus Payton trying to run the option, pitches the football, it's batted away, and he has the reflexes quick enough to spot it, tried to make the recovery, and that gave his teammate enough time to come in and be there on the spot to recover the ball.
And how about Story Jackson's quick reflexes on the way that comes down? I mean, when you know, that linebacker, you're coming down, you love when a quarterback's coming at you. That pitch goes, you're usually trying to kill that quarterback, but his hands are quick enough to bat it up.
You know, I think if they look at that again, Jorge, they're going to say when Thaddeus Payton went up to catch it, he came down and his knee was down on the ground. It looked like before that ball came out the second time.
The only question is, did he have control over it? But since they recovered, I don't know if they're going to spend a lot of time. Yeah, he had the ball. So, yeah, I think officially you're exactly right. I mean, if they're going to respot it or anything, it would be down where he caught that ball at, because his knee, and he had it fully, his arm.
I think both head coaches are just going to be overjoyed at the aggressiveness they have brought to this game from a defensive standpoint. Both Terrence McKinney and Eric Dooley. I mean, it's just, you know, their defenses have been outstanding tonight.
Yeah, no question. There it is. Right there, his knee is down, and he's got that ball fully in his right arm. And if he keeps going, then you'll see it pop out. Really, when the other knee goes out, he had two knees down.
So either way, it's Texas Southern's ball because they recovered the football anyway, but he was originally down on the play.
Yeah, I mean, if you're actually Prairie View, you'd kind of want that spot because it's another 3 or 4 yards back. Not sure they're going to get a respot here, but we'll see. But to your point of both teams looking at this tape when it's over, or the tape, no one uses tape anymore, but digital, their digital video. When they're looking this over, they're going to see a lot of things they loved, and they're going to see quite a few things they didn't like.
There's Clarence McKinney out there with his quarterback, Thaddeus Payton, and you know he's proud of that guy tonight.
Oh, you bet. I mean, there's nothing. Yeah, so they just kept the play. They didn't respot it. They just kept it where it was. We're talking about 2 or 3 yards difference.
Still got a lot of time to go in this ball game. 12:45 here in the fourth quarter with the Tigers from TSU clinging to a 3-point lead, 16-13 over Prairie View, and a big third down coming up for TSU with the football.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. I mean, now it's time for the Panthers to step up defensively.
Payton hands it inside, and not much room there. There's a lot of Panthers on the play. They closed in on that quickly, including 99, Dante Carter, one of the guys there to make the stop on Howard.
And Jackson was there as well.
So this is a big field goal attempt coming up here by Richard Garcia. It's coming in. He'll be coming in to attempt his second field goal.
And I think that was a big stop for the Panthers, right? I mean, that defense stepped up. You settle for a field goal here. You make them settle, or heck, again, attempt. That's a win for your defense.
It will be a 33-yard attempt by Richard Garcia from the left hash mark. A good snap and a good hold, but we have flags and whistles on the field, so we will see what the officials have on that play because everything was set. Wow, that's a big deal.
5-yard replay, 4th down.
That's a huge penalty there because he was 33 yards. You can attack 5 onto that now. And all of a sudden, Richard, of course, he's a second-team All-SWAC player, but now he might think about this.
Oh, you always have to think about it. I already made it. It's taking points off the board, right? But at the end of the day, right, you saw that kick. He had plenty of foot. He just has to repeat the motion, right? You have to go out there, clear your mind, go out there and do it again.
Sawyer Evans, the freshman from Arlington, will hold it. So here comes Garcia again with a 38-yard attempt. His kick is up, and Garcia splits the uprights, and he is fired up about it. Richard Garcia adds 3 more to that Texas Southern lead as he goes off to the sidelines, and that whole sidelines is celebrating with that kicker. Texas Southern out front, 19-13.
What you're made of, we're made for.
We have plenty of time to go here in the fourth quarter in Prairie View, where the TSU Tigers lead the PV Panthers 19-13 with 11:34 to go in this ball game. That after a field goal from 38 yards by Richard Garcia, just tacked on 3 more to that lead. So Garcia will kick it off here. This time he's close to the out of bounds again, and he's done it twice tonight. The second penalty off a kickoff after a score, the second time tonight. So coach is not going to be very happy about that. You know, they're trying to keep the ball away from him.
Yeah, the coach is already, his special teams coach is giving him an earful right there.
Well, you pointed it out the first time. The last thing you want to do in a situation like that is give the team great field position when you just went up by 6.
Yeah, because basically you gave them an extra 10 yards at the very least, right? Now people can get it at the 25-yard line, but you just can't give that extra 10. And now I think the time for the Panthers is to get some rhythm. They haven't had rhythm in a while.
Panthers with the football starting at their 35. Pass over the middle is complete. Nice pass by Trayvon Connolly. And he has his man, Colby Washington. That's a first down, and they will move the sticks, and they hurry to the line of scrimmage. So the Panthers now trying to pick up the tempo. This time, Connolly flips it out near the sideline. Another completed pass to Washington. That's a gain of about 6 on the play.
I love this kind of intensity in the game when you just pick it up and run your 2-minute offense, and you just go at it. I just think it creates adrenaline for your whole offense.
Second down and about 6. This time straight ahead goes the runner, and he picks up about 3 yards inside. That's number 5, Ahmad Antoine on the carry. He's gotten some action tonight. But the leading rusher is still T.J. Starks in this one, and we have not seen him yet in the second half. So we'll try to find out if he's injured, but we have not seen him. Big third down and 3 yards to go for PV, and the TSU defense steps up again.
They have really played a really good job in the run game between tackle to tackle. Just playing strong. Now again, you're going to have the Panthers are going to go for it right here. I think this is the call too, and I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see that a seam route somewhere dead center in the middle.
Javius Williams on the stop, a big stop, but once again, we're looking at 4th down, and Coach Eric Dooley has decided that we probably want to go for this right here and right now with 9:50 to go here in the fourth quarter. PV with the football near the 40-yard line on the TSU side. Go for the quick pass. Wide open is Washington, and he's going to have the first down for the Panthers. So they had a play they knew they could count on in that situation, and they went right to Washington. The third completion to him on this drive.
Look how confident they are when they run that play. And I love the catch, and then he turns, and he just battles. He dished out the punishment there.
First down, they go quickly again. Connolly this time throws it right off the receiver's hands, trying to hit Chris Johnson over there. And that was one of those plays where he had the option to pass. You know, he could have run with it, could have passed it, decided to pass. The guy was open.
Well, he did a great job of selling the run, right? I thought there's no way he's throwing it. And then the receivers just kept working, and he got it right to him.
That's one Chris Johnson would like to have back. The 6'2", 195 sophomore from Baton Rouge. He's a transfer from Tulane. Now we have a 2nd and 10 coming up for the Panthers. Ball goes inside, and the Tigers are there to stop it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Prairie View receivers are going to be walking around campus with footballs in their hands all week long, or I guess now, heck, sitting in your Zoom call with the ball.
What's the name of that movie? All I remember about that movie is Haley Berry. That's it. That's it. The only thing I remember about that movie.
Was there anything else to remember?
Omar Epps was in it too, but that's all I remember.
Nothing else to remember.
Yeah, they were trying to knock the ball out of his hand. Big 3rd down coming up here for the PV Panthers. 3rd and about 9 yards to go to convert. Ball is loose. Connolly picks it up, still has time. On his feet, avoids a would-be tackler and throws, and it's intercepted. His pass is picked off into secondary by number 8, Ja'Cory Benjamin is there with the interception for the TSU Tigers. So what a play.
I was so impressed by how calm Connolly was after the fumble. And just, he is calm. He's not rattled. He's not shaken. And I'm like, this guy's going to make a huge play out of this. And then right there, he tries to force it. And he just underthrew.
Well, the thing about it, when you look at that play, that looked like the only receiver on that side of the field. Connolly was aware that it was 4th down. He had to unload the ball. It's unfortunate for them that the receiver was well covered, but very fortunate for the TSU Tigers because they start 1st and 10 now from their 21-yard line. Another high snap. This time, though, controlled, and it's given to Owens, and he is swung down by big number 99. I mean, we've called this number today, Dante Carter, all 315 pounds of him. That's a big stop.
That looked like the original longest yard kind of clothesline. He just took him down.
Wow, that's a loss of 2 on the play. So the Tigers will come back out. Look at the center, Nate Hines, making the calls inside. He's the guy that calls the blocking scheme for the offense. This time it's given to Owens again, and he trucks around the outside, and Owens picks up half of what he needed right there, a little more than half.
His vision and being able to accelerate to where he's trying to get to is exceptional. And right now, he's on the sidelines with a little bit of a leg issue there. Watch him right there. He does that little juke that goes inside, sets up the blocks, and then just takes it outside.
Well, you don't like to make comparisons, but when I see him run, the first thing I think about is Le'Veon Bell. Because he's got that sleepy looking, and then the next thing you know, he's by you. I mean, it looks like he's not really accelerating. He waits for his blocking to form, and he's done an excellent job of doing that tonight.
That's how I would do the comparison. I think Le'Veon Bell is one of the best to set up blocks. He was patient enough to let it develop, and I think that's exactly what he does. That little subtle move where he just kind of went inside, that allowed that defender kind of went in, and that his lineman was able to take a better block there.
That's a good shot. Owens is up and around.
Have butter.
We are going down to the wire tonight in Prairie View, Texas, where the Texas Southern Tigers lead Prairie View 19-13. We have 7:32 to go here in the ball game. Tigers with the ball, 3rd short, and a big stop by the Panthers defense. Leading the charge, Jason Dumas was number 1 in the backfield and number 1 in your program, number 1 in your heart after that one. What a big play.
Man, talk about coming on a mission. Whew. Number 1 in Peyton's heart right now because it's beating pretty hard.
Thaddeus Payton never had a chance. Big play by Jason Dumas.
Huge stop for the Panthers defense, and they're going to set their offense up in good field position. That's a huge play right there.
Dumas had 5.5 sacks last year, and that was almost blocked. The kicker was hit. They may have partially blocked that kick, but we do have a flag down near where Sawyer Evans was hit. And Sawyer Evans is still on the ground, and we will see. The officials are pointing back at the flag. That could be a huge play in this game because if it's roughing the kicker, that would be a 1st down for the Tigers.
The key will be here is did they touch the ball at all? Right? Were they able to get the ball, then hit him? And look to me that they were able to deflect the ball some and then hit him. But was it the guy who tackled him?
Foul. Roughing the kicker on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And that's the big one, too. 15 yards gives them a first down, and TSU will maintain possession of the ball. But they got very close to it. If they didn't touch it, which the official didn't think that they did, they were very close.
I think what the problem was is if it was touched, it wasn't touched by the guy who hit him.
Well, and that's
he went barreling into him.
It's been a tough night for Bryce Turner. He's the one who ran into the kicker. He's also the guy who got beat on the touchdown pass into the corner. So his bad night continues after that play right there. So the Tigers now will move the football all the way up to the 37-yard line, where they will start again 1st and 10. And now that game clock is down to 6:40 to go in the ball game.
I think, Peyton, what TSU needs to do right here is one of those drag patterns that have been so successful for them tonight, just to get the ball moving and keep attacking.
Tigers on the attack. Fakes it to Nelson, and Thaddeus Payton keeps it. He faked it to Jalen Nelson. It's the first time Nelson's been in the game since his big fumble. The coach has him back in there showing some confidence, but it was Thaddeus Payton right there moving the football forward, picks up about 5 on that first-yard carry.
Getting 5, it's a good first down play for sure.
Payton turns, hands to Nelson again. 2 hands on the football. Actually, that was number 23, Ja'Cory Howard. No, that's Nelson. Excuse me. Nelson back in the game again. And he had 2 hands on the football. And that's what tends to happen after you lose one of them.
Well, what Story Jackson just knew, I mean, the whole defense from the Panthers knew what was coming. They were flying in there. And that's why I said that first down play was so big to get you the 5 yards. But you got to stay open. You got to keep the Panthers thinking that you're going to keep attacking. Great job by the Panthers defense.
3rd and 7, the option play. Nice pitch from Payton. Nelson turning on the speed. He's going to be very close. It's going to depend on the spot because he dove right at the flag. So where do the officials mark the football down? And where on the first look at it, man, he's going to be extremely close. Boy, they have him like maybe a yard shy. Let's see.
Looks like a really bad spot to me because I thought he was right on the marker.
It looked like he was. Great hustle, though, by Trayshad Smith. He was the one who got over there, didn't give up on the play, kept going, kept coming, and did not give up that first down. Really big play by the Panthers' leading tackler from last season, making his presence felt tonight. Yeah, it depends on whether they marked him out of bounds because he was very, very close.
Well, what was interesting is I don't think the mark was good, but he may not have made it anyway. So I don't think you can decisive.
Timeout goes to TSU, so they're going to talk about things and maybe decide exactly what they want to do. That was Sawyer Evans coming out. He got called back. We'll see whether Coach Clarence McKinney decides to go here on 4th down and a little more than a yard. Oh, here comes the punter now, too. So everybody's in that huddle. We're just going to have to see who's going to come out and what they're going to do.
It's called a scramble huddle. They send all the special people in there, and then they run around, and then they break up, and the defense has to react.
No, that's Sawyer Evans out there. So they will punt the ball back to the Prairie View Panthers.
Yeah, I think that's the right move because you say it's like a yard. It looks more like 2.5 almost. Again, I think that spot was so off.
We still have a 1-possession game as Sawyer Evans comes on to punt the football away. He's averaged pretty close to 35 yards a kick tonight, so he's been consistent with that. Not overly long, but he's kept him pinned back. He's done a good job from his part. Now the Tigers go in motion on 4th down. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Snap goes back to Sawyer Evans, and he gets it up near the sidelines. Good kick is fielded by the Panthers, and they will start 1st and 10 from their 21-yard line as Darius Campbell made the fair catch. But I tell you what, some eyes were kind of wondering what was going on there when those guys went in motion.
Yeah.
Instead, Tigers still lead it 19-13.
in-store pickup at your Academy store.
You are taking a look at Clarence McKinney, the second-year head coach at Texas Southern University, on the sidelines. And right now his team has a 19-13 lead over the Panthers from Prairie View. And, of course, if you know anything about Clarence McKinney, what a great history there, man. He grew up right next door to TSU, actually played over there at TSU when he was a kid, went to Jack Yates High School, coached at Jack Yates, and then he came back and was an assistant coach at Houston, over at Texas A&M, and at Arizona. And the guy knows some offense, and right now his team has a 6-point lead in this big rivalry matchup as Prairie View on the attack. Connolly has a man wide open. That is number 0, Tony Mullins, who actually wore 19 last year, but this year he's 0. And Mullins made a nice catch there to move the sticks.
And how open that middle was. I mean, just look at that. They haven't really gone in the middle for a little bit, and TSU left it wide open. Those linebackers were blitzing and left it wide open.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Time for Connolly again, throws underneath, and it's off the fingertips of Travis O'Connor. And those are the ones that are intercepted sometimes. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, watch Trey Cooper here. He's really mad at himself for not adjusting that ball. Look at him. Oh, man, I could have moved for that. That would have been hard for him to catch, but it still feels like when you don't move for it, you're like, maybe I could have.
You're the TSU defense. You're in a tough spot right here because you have to decide, do we want to continue to play aggressive or do we loosen up some and try to burn some of the clock? It seems like there's too much clock for that. 4:29 as Connolly looks to pass on 2nd and 10. He has a wide open field to his left, and he high steps it out of bounds with a huge gain and a 1st down for the Panthers.
Well, I think that play right there answers your deal right there. You have to stay aggressive. But right there, it was just a matter of the offensive line for the Panthers collapsed him down inside, and it was wide open. It was like parting the Red Sea there.
Well, and he made a great decision to keep the football, too, to pull it down, and that's a huge gain. And that flipped the field because now the Panthers are on the TSU side of the field. Connolly near the sideline completes his pass again. In rhythm on the stop for the Tigers is number 26, Isaiah Hamilton. But just like that, Travis O'Connor making his presence felt.
But Isaiah did a great job of breaking on that ball. I almost thought he was going to knock that down. But again, O'Connor, nice job. And again, time's not really an essence for the Panthers. They want to just make sure they run good plays and they have success on each play, and they'll get in the end zone. They'll be fine.
2nd and 5 for the Panthers. A lot of time. Now it breaks down. Comes out of the pockets. Connolly finds a man wide open there all by himself. That's Ty Holden, and Holden is very close to another 1st down, and yes, he will move the sticks as the Panthers are now inside the 30-yard line.
Connolly just does a nice job here, just keeping his head up, and that was a hard throw right there. He was throwing against his body right there, across his body.
Michael Badijo putting the pressure on him in the backfield, putting a lot of heat on him. But as the clock ticks down, 2:55 to go, Connolly again, time in the pocket, and that time he overshot his man, but we have a penalty flag on the field, and that could be a big hit on the receiver there. That could end up being a 1st down for the Panthers.
Yeah, there's a lot of jaw jacking.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. Penalty enforced, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic, 1st down.
So the pass interference call is against Joshua Murray, number 12.
I'm not sure what we saw there from an interference standpoint. Looked like he was going for the ball. He certainly took a huge hit. He paid the price, giving up 15 yards on the penalty and physically.
It was friendly fire on that play, but he took a hit on it, and that was a close one because the ball was high. The ball was, some of you might even make the case that ball was uncatchable, but it's very high. But either way, it's a 1st down for the Panthers now with the ball resting on the 14-yard line, and what a drive by Connolly to take them on this march. And now they work on the clock. They hand the football off, and diving down to the 10-yard line. So PV goes to the rushing game. That is number 7, Christian Mosley. And so now you may see them slow down just a little bit with 2:35 to go in this ballgame.
But you know what? With the problem with that always, in theory, yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to run out the clock as much as you can and score. But at the end of the day, you have to score. You have to get your touchdown however you can.
Trezon Connolly on the side.
Whoa, Susan.
Oh, I'm looking for coupon codes.
Well, Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them. It's called shopping smart, not hard.
But I don't have a Capital One card.
You should get one, but you don't need it for this. Just download Capital One Shopping to your computer. It's free.
Ooh, save me some cheddar.
So, when's the party? I love fondue.
Really?
I never joke about hot cheese, Susan.
Me neither.
Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
With Infinity Now, your test drive comes to you. So you can try one car one day and another the next. Because when you find the kind of luxury that fits you, you'll know. Experience luxury on your terms when you purchase or lease a new Infinity online with Infinity Now. Lease the 2021 Infinity QX50 for $379 a month at your local Infinity retailer.
With the intelligent control of all-wheel drive and the power of a 2.5-liter turbo engine, there's no limit to the places the all-new Sorento can take you, and to the stories waiting for you when you get there. The all-new Sorento, the world's first storytelling machine.
Used to make do, and now I'm making a name for myself and my family. I've got no room for discouragement, only encouragement. And I'm being taught business like it's nobody's business. At home and in class. And hold the door, please, because this elevator's going straight up. What's your and?
There you see Coach Clarence McKinney on the sidelines. The last time TSU won a game, October 27, 2018, they beat Mississippi Valley State. And Jorge, the last time they beat Prairie View?
We were there? Oh,
no.
I was there in that game, 2014. You were setting me up and I fumbled.
And here goes Julian Marcantel with a big sack by the TSU defense. Caught Connolly, dragged him down, and what a game Julian Marcantel has played tonight for the TSU Tigers.
Second huge momentum play right there for him.
Clock ticking down. We're close to 2:05 to go in the ball game. Panthers down by 6. Connolly in the pocket trying to get away, and he is spun down again. The Tigers coming up with another defensive play. Viramontes Pippins is there for the stop. What a play by them. And so now we have a timeout on the field, but great defense.
Just a huge play on Mercantile, which just creates so much havoc. Wow. And I'll tell you, since I fumbled earlier, how big this next play is. 4th down, right? Obviously, Prairie View is going to have to go for it if they want to win this game. TSU has not won this Classic since 2014. And they won 35-34.
35-34. Of course, last year, Prairie View won the game 44-23. The Panthers coming out on top. So, hey, anything is possible in this game. It's never over until it's over. And right now, the Panthers have another shot with 4th and 12 and 1:55 to go in this ballgame.
Yeah, and Connolly showed great poise and being able to get the ball where he needs to get it. So, TSU's got to be ready. And again, you run these things now. I mean, they've got to get down at least with the 4-yard line for a 1st down. So you got to guard against that. But I think what's been success is you just attacking. So,
okay, we're set up now. Here it is. 4th down, 18 yards to go. They have to get the ball down to the 3-yard line. Really, they have a 1st down. They have to be over the 4-yard line. So it's a long 18 yards to go for a PV 1st down. Of course, 22 yards, and they have a touchdown. Connolly in the pocket, has a good pocket, throws near the sidelines, has it at the 10, and let's see where they mark it. What a play by Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, what a play. Looked like he was going to be stopped short, but he got away and got all the way down. Let's see where they mark the sticks.
I guess they gave him a first down.
They have first down inside the 4. They have it marked right at the 4. Well, let's see. They're going to take another look at that again. But Chris Johnson, a couple of white shirts out there, and you wouldn't have thought he would have had time to make that type of move. The play is under review, and what they were reviewing is where he stepped out of bounds.
Correct.
That's what they're trying to see. He had to get to the 4. That's where they've moved the down markers down to the 4, and it's just a matter of whether or not he was pushed out on the 5 or whether he got the ball extended to the 4.
Yeah, I think, I don't care how many camera angles you probably had of this thing, it would be hard to say he didn't make it when they called it at the 4, right? I mean, because it was close. It was close.
Let's take another look. Chris Johnson makes the catch.
Was that left foot out of bounds, though, right before? Did you see that left foot? That was the interesting part there.
Connolly does a good job. Throws him a good ball. Gives him some room to work.
Yeah.
And Tigers gave up the outside. They allowed him to get away. They were trying to tackle him on the inside.
Right.
So
that left, you can't really see him, but that left foot right before the right goes out.
The Tigers look like they're celebrating down there. I don't know if they've gotten the early word. They're close to the officials. Take another look, Jorge. Let's see. Here's a better look at it.
I think his right there. Right there. I mean, that left foot might have gone out, and he's short of that 4
And the ball would have been around the 5-yard line if he's out of bounds on that play. Let's see what the officials have. They're still talking about it.
And again, even when watching when he goes out, continue that ball right. His foot goes out right there. I think that's still just short of the 4-yard line.
From that angle, it didn't look like he got to the 4, but we'll see. We don't want to jump the gun on the officials here and see what they got on the call. Connolly, what a great job he's done here in the second half.
Yeah, and again, look, it has to be where you believe it's conclusive. And so if there's a doubt in your mind, you have to go with the play on the field. See, that's not conclusive that his foot's out there. Then you'd have to say
that's the one you have to look at is
right.
The second step to where was the football when the second step came down, if you think the first one is not conclusive.
Correct. Roll it forward there, guys. Thanks. I think right. Not conclusive, at least not. They don't. But right here
was the ball on the 4-yard line when that second foot came down.
Yeah, that's just hard. That's just hard to call.
Marty Adams and his crew taking a good long look at this, and well, they should. The ball game is on the line.
And I have to give them credit, right? On the plays they've looked at earlier, I thought they did a really good job saying very quickly when the plays were, they could see it was done. They made the call quick. They didn't sit there and milk it out and, go long. This one, I think, certainly. Obviously, you got 146 left. You got a 6-point game with Prairie View closing in at the 4-yard line. This is the game. You take your time, make sure you get it right.
No matter what the call is, what a great effort right there by Chris Johnson, because he never gave up. He fought that all the way.
He sure did. Yeah, and I mean, you basically put your player on an island saying you got to go get 4 or 5 yards for us after you catch that ball because it's a short throw.
A lot of times you won't see a quarterback make that throw because they know it's not far enough for the first down. Here he trusted Chris Johnson to make a move and try to be able to get to it, and he is extremely close.
Yeah, and see, from that angle, when I see that back angle, it looks more like that foot's out, but that could be from the angle of the camera. It's just extremely difficult to see.
There are a lot of TSU and PV fans sitting here in Prairie View tonight on the edge of their seat, waiting for this, as Marty Adams and the rest of the official group, as they take their time trying to get this call right. Now you see some of the PV players are pointing like they got a first down. So we're seeing a little reaction over there at the PV huddle.
Well, you got to sell it. You got to sell You got to sell your deal. But one thing I have to say, Butch, while this has been a really good game, feel blessed that we're here watching live football here at Action in the Stadium with some fans here. It's been a really good game here on ESPN3. I'd figure out what he said.
I think he turned off his mic.
Well, it looks like the TSU defense is out there, so it looks like Prairie View.
First down is the word from the official, so the Panthers will have it first and goal to go from the 4-yard line with 1:46 to go in this ball game. So the officials looked at it. I mean, they took a good, 8-10 minutes to look at that thing. So.
It felt like it, but again, they feel like they made the right call. Now it's TSU's defense got to step up. Prairie View A&M has got to make the plays to get in the end zone.
Prairie View going to a strong set. They hand it off, and they have the touchdown. Christian Mosley straight ahead for the touchdown. So right after the first down, the Panthers go to Mosley, who carries it in for the touchdown. Now, the all-important extra point is coming up.
What a great stock in your offensive line and in your team saying, guys, look, because he was sitting there and he pointed at the line and said, look, you want this? Go get it. We're going to run it right up their gut. And you go in there and you run a great play and you get the touchdown.
That was a money drive by the Panthers, taking it down, and now the all-important extra point. Luis Reyes is on. His kick is right down the middle. He split it, and that will give the Panthers a 1-point lead, 20-19.
Wow, look at that run and the blocking there. I mean, he had room. Usually when you're talking about a game this close and this tight, there's not that kind of room down low trying to go for a touchdown, and he did. And look at the blocking in there. Everyone engaged, cleared out, and bam. They collapsed people inside. Good run.
Mark Cancel and True Scott hit him, but they could not deny him the end zone. Christian Mosley, the 5'10", 174-pounder. He's a junior from Destrehan. He's actually a transfer from Louisiana Tech. Came over and, got the touchdown, but we still have 1 and 40 seconds to go. And with that said, the TSU Tigers, for them, their field goal kicker is a young man named Richard Garcia, second-team All-SWAC. Talking to Coach Clarence McKinney this week, said he feels like I got confidence in the young man anywhere from 50 yards in. So If he's got that kind of range, they have 1 and 40 seconds to see if they can't get him in range.
Yeah, and I'll just say this right now. One of the big plays of the game for TSU before the half was a kickoff return that set them up so they keep driving to go for points. Right now, you get your special teams out there. Where can they give the offense the ball?
Tigers have done a good job on the kickoff return tonight. Ball bounces in. It's going to be number 85, and he's out of bounds near the 25-yard line. That is Osby Mitchell on the return. Most of the big returns tonight were by Thurman Morbley. And so a lot of dancing going on that PV sideline after they take it the distance to get the touchdown to go up by 1. That drive led by Trezon Connolly, who did not start the game, did not play in the first half, came back here in the second half, and has moved the PV Panthers back out in front. So here come the Tigers now, operating just shy of the 25-yard line. Thaddeus Payton in at quarterback. He's thrown the ball well tonight. Payton again throws underneath, has a completed pass to Jaron Johnson. Keep in mind the TSU Tigers do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining in this one. Second down for Payton. Rose to his left, throws near the sideline, and that was a dangerous pass. Jalen Harris right there. The All-SWAC player was right there. He had 4 interceptions last year, and he was kind of close there. He was looking in.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was dangerous, to say the least. It was a rolling pocket, so it gave him protection, but I just thought the angle of that throw wasn't right. And I'll tell you, they got three timeouts. You go to the middle of the field, and you keep running your drag patterns, and you run right in the middle, and you march down the field if you're TSU.
Tigers have moved the ball well in the second half. This time he goes inside, just like Dr. Jorge ordered. That's a nice catch right there by 85 Osby Mitchell. And that will move the sticks, and also, more importantly for the Tigers, that will stop the clock until the ball is reset. This time he fakes it to Owens. Come here near the sideline, has a man, and he steps out of bounds. Number 81, that is Johnson again. Jaron Johnson hauls it in, then he gets out of bounds quickly. So the ball right now just shy of midfield. It's about the 46-yard line.
And again, if you maintain exactly what they're doing, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, you do 3, 4 of those plays, you're in field goal range. You got a minute left. You had 3 timeouts. You can take your time. You can get into field goal range.
Tigers looking to the sideline. Second down and short. 2nd and 3. Pass goes to Owens behind the line. He runs toward the sidelines, and he takes it out of bounds right at the stick. So he will be extremely close to that first down. That only took 5 seconds. And it's a first down for the Tigers. So minimum usage of the clock there, only 5 seconds. He hesitated there in that situation. You just want to hook it up and get that first down. He could have been dropped inside, and that would not have been good for TSU. But it's a first down. Clock will stop. Payton again throws it near the sideline, and a great defensive play by the Panthers, and that guy, Trayshawn Smith. I mean, we've been talking about him all night long, and there's a very good reason why. You know, he's got 6 sacks last year, but tonight he's shown us why he's an all-SWAC player.
Yeah, what was it, 12 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. And again, you know, I always call it you just get in someone's hip pocket, and basically he was stealing his money when he got that ball.
Well, he just reads the play so well.
Yes.
I mean, that was his guy coming out of the backfield. He saw his read, and he jumped on it.
Yeah, he took the keys to his car right when he got that ball.
You see a guy make a play like that, and you can understand why he had 93 tackles last year.
Yeah, and big. I mean, big 5-yard dump right there. Again, TSU's shown to me that they have a really, really good success in the middle of the field. Now you have 2 timeouts left. You're in good shape. When they start swinging it out, I mean, you know, especially those out patterns, I don't feel like they've got enough success on that. But I will say this. I mean, Thaddeus Payton has just kept his calm, kept composure, and kept the faith of his team in there, which has been fascinating to watch. And again, the Panthers defense, they don't seem to get rattled either. They just keep coming.
2nd and 15 for Thaddeus Payton. Some pressure. Ball is knocked out of his hands, and he has to fall on it. But a great defensive play by number 58 there, stripping the ball away from him. And now the officials, the clock will continue to go down to 37 seconds. And now we have a timeout. Texas Southern on the play.
Yeah, they lost a few seconds there waiting for a timeout as well. Good job by that Panthers defense. I mean, I just mentioned they keep coming, and they sure did.
Desmond Obi was the guy putting the pressure on that play. I mean, he was in the backfield and did a smart thing. He swiped at the football, he got it, and it knocked it away. And then luckily for the Tigers, Thaddeus Payton was able to fall on it.
Yeah, you called his name several times tonight, Obi, and he's played super strong and come up with a couple of big plays. And credit to the Panthers defense. We talked about it when the game started. They had 6 guys that were all conference. You had some great defensive backs. You had some good linebackers that made stuff happen, some defensive linemen, and they get it done.
Can you tell this is a rivalry? Look around this stadium. Nobody is sitting down. Everybody is up on their feet, waiting to see how this one is going to end with 36 seconds to go, and the Prairie View Panthers clinging to a 20-19 lead.
This has been a really, really good, entertaining game. And again, if you live on the northwest side of Houston and you don't come up here to watch a couple of games, for the Panthers. I mean, you're selling yourself short, especially this spring. It's a good place to watch a football game.
Third down and a lot. Peyton in the pocket, slides to his left. Now he pulls it down, ball knocked away again, and the Panthers recover, and that will do it. A big recovery right there for the PV Panthers. Story Jackson. That defense just came to life here on this last drive. The last 3 plays, the defense for Prairie View just dominated the football game.
They're posing for pictures down here. Congratulations to them. Just great effort and determination. Again, watch how they're coming. And Peyton, who's remained calm most of this game, just lost it.
Story Jackson picks it up for the Panthers, and that will seal it. That'll put the icing on this cake. TSU has one more timeout, but we only have 28 seconds to go in the ball game. And Thaddeus Payton will limp off the field after getting sacked a couple of times in a row. And the Panthers have a lot to celebrate on the sideline. You know, there's the bit of that never say die attitude in this, and both those teams have showed it tonight. And the Panthers really, really came up tough when they had to.
Yeah, they did. They showed their just that they wouldn't give up, never give up. Find a way, find a way, find a way, and they did just that.
Victory formation, the formation that every coach loves to call. You saw Trayvon Connolly take a knee right there, and we talked about this young man. What a job he did in the second half. I mean, what a great job as the final seconds tick off. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and that'll do it. The winning streak goes on. The Panthers have now beaten the Tigers 6 consecutive times after coming from behind here in the fourth quarter to win.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see the elation on the Panthers, and I'll give credit to the coaching staff as well, making sure not only just from the times we live in right now, keeping these teams separate and making sure that each team goes to the locker room separate, but just great perseverance for the Panthers. I mean, they had opportunities that slipped by them, but when it mattered most, they seized the opportunity, and defensively they did that.
Well, you can break it down to one play. That pass from Connolly to Chris Johnson. When Chris Johnson, his extra effort got him close to whether you think he made it or not, his extra effort put him right there to put it there. First down, Panthers. Then they take the touchdown in by Christian Mosley. And then you get that defensive effort with the game on the line, and all TSU needed was a field goal to maybe go home with the victory.
Right, and they were moving that way, and then that defense stiffened up, put the stops on them, and they deserve the win. What a great football game! This was a fantastic football game. I think both teams, again, TSU won't feel it tonight necessarily, the pride, but I think when they go in and they look at their game film, they see what they did, they see some mistakes, they're going to see a lot of things that they really like to see and that they love.
Well, and I saw some things we're going to have to take a look at tonight. Trayvon Connolly, will he be the starting quarterback moving forward for Prairie View? And then you look on the other side, we don't know what the injury is to Devin Williams, but Thaddeus Payton, until right there at the end where things got out of his control. And there you see the big trophy right there. The trophy will be awarded to the Panthers. What a big victory. That's the Nick Durley Trophy, named after the 2 legendary coaches from both schools. So for Jorge Vargas and our entire crew, I'm Butch Alcindor saying we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Final score from Prairie View, 2019 Panthers have now beaten the Tigers 6 consecutive games. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.
With Infinity Now, your test drive comes to you. So you can